Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Oh man. Shout out to JR Wisdom. Links are in the description as usual. Um, Shout out to JR Wisdom for covering this clip from the Breakfast Club of Candace Owens speaking to Charlemagne, Jess Hilarious, Envy, DJ Envy. Wow. Okay. Z, are you going to start off with a tone or are you going to start off slow? Let's start off like this. Let's do this. If we live on a planet currently in the 21st century where white folks disproportionately punch above their weight class, in other words, white people on planet Earth constitute less than 10% of the population, and yet they are the majority of the wealthy folks on planet Earth, wealthy people on planet Earth, particularly, obviously, white men. White people have disproportionately influenced global events over the past half millennia, excuse me, 500 years or so, right? Okay. European colonialism, pretty much starting in 1492, that's where Mr. Z starts it, right? Them selling out of Europe, right? Columbus and whatnot. Okay, fine. Give or take half a century, European colonialism has had a just insane, incalculable effect on global affairs over the past half millennia. Cool. White folks went around the planet colonizing, enslaving, raping, pillaging, and stamping their religion, their culture, their faith, their belief system, right? Their ideology, everywhere they went, they took that with them, obviously. The fact that Z speaks English, the fact that Z has a Haitian background and speaks Creole, the fact that Z comes from the island of Hispaniola on behalf of the island named Haiti, Haiti, is a testament to this. The fact that you have black people in Brazil that are originally from Angola, all the way on the other side of the Atlantic, is a testament to this. The fact that it's so hard and rare to find a literal indigenous person in America if you're not in certain areas of the country is a testament to this. Right? And on this little blue-green dot in this galaxy that human beings name the Milky Way, third rock from the sun, right? We are to believe, according to women of color, black women specifically, that love is love, according to Miss Candace Owens. She didn't factor in race, according to Miss Candace Owens. Remember, this is around the time. Remember, also, Candace Owens said she was on a serious Asian kick at once. Oh boy. She says she doesn't factor in color, but then she's admitting that her first boyfriend was what, Japanese, her second boyfriend was Korean. She used to be on a heavy Asian kick. Okay. I agree with JR Wisdom. I don't think she ever dated a black guy, but that's all right, cool. What Mr. Z is saying, and I want to be very clear, I don't care how offensive I am. People of color need to stop lying to other people of color and lying to themselves about love is love. You can't help who you fall in love with. I don't see race just because you're in an interracial relationship with particularly a white person. We have a growing amount of evidence. We have research. We have online dating information. We have marriage statistics provided to us by the census and by Pew Research, etc., that shows that that's not necessarily what's actually going on. We have iconography and history and paintings going back the past 200 and 300 years that shows how people of color have internalized the racial hierarchy. That includes women internalizing the racial hierarchy. That's women of color internalizing white men at the top. Huh. So Miss Candace Owens, who brings up Loving versus Virginia and how these people make these weirdo arguments, is being very, very disingenuous because she knows what the argument is because she participated in it. Huh. Right? Why do we choose who we choose? In the 21st century, right, where white men who constitute what? Some 4% of the world's population, give or take, maybe 5% of the world's population. White men who constitute something like 8% of the male population on planet Earth, give or take. And yet, women of color that end up with white men continue to tell us love is love, and you can't help who you love. And I fell in love, and he connected with me, and huh. Remember, this is a woman who said she was heavy. She had a heavy Asian kick, and she ended up dating Asian men. Huh? You had a heavy Asian kick once, and you dated Asian men, but you don't see race. Now, Asians constitute what, 8% of the US population, give or take, right? I heard 13% also. That's not accurate. Something like what, 8%? 7, 8%, right? And yet, even in Connecticut, all right, you as a black woman, let's be very clear, because we understand how little black women and Asian men actually marry. I didn't say anything else. I didn't say have sex or whatnot. You as a black woman still managed to be in relationship or situationship, however that goes, with at least 2 Asian men. Yet you want us to believe that love is love. Okay, fine. And you ended up with the white man that you ended up with, who was the CEO of Parler and who dad, from my understanding, is a Lords of London. And yet we're supposed to believe love is love. Why does this matter, Z? And this is where I would push back a bit on JR Wisdom. Mr. Z is going to do some simping for black women here. Oh boy, Z, are you about to simp for black women? Yes, unfortunately. Candace Owens isn't quote unquote speaking the truth about the black community. And if other black women imitated her, that wouldn't be quote unquote better for the black community. Understand the space that Candace Owens occupies. It's the same space that Ben Shapiro occupies, right, on the conservative right. Y'all have heard Mr. Z say this multiple times. 94% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Some 92 or some odd percent of black women voted for Joe Biden in 2020. That is why Candace Owens is overrepresented on the political right. That is why they gave her a microphone. That's why she has a voice. Whether your politics are right-leaning or left-leaning, can we actually be honest and be adults for once? Candace Owens is over there because the right wants to be like, look, we're not sexist and racist towards black women. Look, Candace Owens. It's okay. You can be a Republican and acknowledge why Candace Owens is over there and why white folks, white men, gave her the microphone. It's not because of her talent. And I'm not saying she's not talented. It's not because of her wittiness. I'm not saying she's not witty. It's because she's a black woman. Incidentally enough, the reason why Candace Owens has a microphone is for the same reason that she mocks the left. And the black community and other black women. It's because she's a black woman. Yikes. A unambiguous chocolate black woman. And she's kind of cute. That is why Candace Owens has a microphone. It's okay to admit it. It's okay. I know, I know, I know. Huh? So this is not about who Candace Owens chose necessarily. This is about Candace Owens messing up and saying that love word. By the way, let's be very clear. Mr. Z is not telling people or even attempting, I don't even think it's my place. First, then I wouldn't even attempt to. Second, tell people why you should end up with the spouse you end up for. I don't care why you end up with who you end up with. It could be out of convenience, it could be business, it could be political calculation, it could be love. That means me, no, never mind. That's none of my business. But once you're a public figure, a black public figure on top of that, in a relationship, married to a non black person, and you come out your mouth and talk about love, oh boy. Huh. Yes, Mr. Z is going to say it. Oh, yeah, I am. Most people of color are not with white folks because of some love thing. Because if I let you talk long enough, that's men of color and women of color, but definitely women of color, black women. If I let you speak long enough, you're going to speak about your inferiority complex. At one point now, you're going to speak about how men of your own race are not on your level. Yoink. Um, you're going to speak as Miss Candace Owens did about how he connected with you and you were looking for a challenge and you were looking for and you're always thinking about stuff and you're always on the go, 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 as if we don't have black men that operate in the same way. Huh. If we let black women talk long enough, we let Stefco talk long enough, we let Chrissy talk long enough, we let Cynthia G talk long enough, we let Lexus Exodus talk long enough, we let Candace Owens talk long enough, we let Kim Klacik talk long enough. We didn't even have to let Kamala Harris talk long enough. You could just see her life. You let Susan Rice, Condoleezza Rice, yikes. Oprah, oops. Huh? We let you speak long enough, or we just pay attention to your actions, and that shows us white worship. Yes. In our society, particularly in the West, we interrogate why men end up with the women they end up with at nauseum. We interrogate why men find what they find attractive at nauseum. We mock men for what they find attractive. We insult them. We belittle them for what they find attractive. We speak of them like they're being children for finding physically attractive women physically attractive. We infantilize them. We belittle them. Meanwhile, women, women of color in particular, black women even more particular, nope, nothing to say about that. Right? And what does that mean for the quote unquote black community when you have women like Candace Owens speaking about quote unquote love and why she ended up with the white spouse that she ended with or that she's with? Huh? You have women like Bowser who said it once and then reminded you a year later that she said it and she still stands by it. Black men dating out and white black women dating out is not the same thing. And no one could tell me different. Shout out to whoever you are, brother, that's with her right now in that relationship. Ooh, man. Mm. Huh? Which once again, and very importantly, because Candace Owens engaged in this in her own backwards way, when we let black women, women of color speak long enough, Mindy Kaling, right? We always end up with the woe is me. The boys and the men of my community did not find me attractive. And so I just happened to end up with a white man. They didn't like my feature. So I didn't end up with a black woman. Excuse me, with a black man. I ended up with a white man. Black women are saying it. Latina women are saying it. South Asian women are saying it. East Asian women are saying it. Indigenous women are saying it. Huh. So all of these women from different backgrounds are saying, huh, the men of my own ethnicity, my race, my tribe, there's something defective about them, whether that's their failed patriarchs, black men, whether that's their too patriarchal Asian men, whether that's that they practice too much machismo, Latino men, whether that's they're losers and they're drunks and they lost a whole goddamn car in it, indigenous men. All of these women somehow magically end up on the white peen and then say love is love and you can't help who you love. Jar of wisdom, I don't know. Right? Exactly, compassion. The internet will expose us all, and that's all it is. Right? And Azriel says, in her defense, she grew up in White Plains. My mom's siblings grew up on that side of the family, and it is nothing but whites and Asians there. It's upstate New York. Okay. Right? And I understand that. But you mess up when you say I had an Asian kick when I was younger. Right? It would have been a different situation. Remember, what's been my Candace Owens? Right? She said I had an Asian kick. She didn't say, I grew up around a bunch of Asians. I dated a couple. No, she said I had an Asian kick. I had an Asian fetish. Okay. All right, cool. Look at how she tried to frame this relationship with her now white husband. I'm always on the go. I'm always thinking about things. If y'all understand the things that I'm reading and I'm translation, I couldn't meet a black man that could keep up and that had my same worldview and values and that was rich. Uh-oh. And, excuse me. And that was an opportunist to this level. Yikes. Right? Right? Huh. This matters only really because not just on the political right, but on the political left, these are the people that are often appointed as the Negro whisperers for white folks. These are the people that are moved into position to explain the Negroes and why the Negroes do the things they do. Literally, that's what Candace Owens is on the right to do. To obscure the right's anti-blackness and racism, and to be the Negro whisperer for the white right. Huh? So we covered this morning. Shout out to JR Wisdom. No, Candace Owens, it's not just that she wouldn't be a great representative because she's married to a white man and it shows a bit of conflict of interest. No, it's not just that. It's her entire political ideology. And no, I am not getting on the Republicans and the black right, not this morning at least. If you had a bunch of black women in the black community, and I'm directing this towards JR Wisdom, that operated like Candace Owens, you would have Candace Owens. Disingenuous opportunists. Wait a minute. I think we already got that. Right? When we speak about intimacy, race, and relationships and their effect on the black community, black men in particular, black men specifically, we have to be honest about what that means for black men. When the framing from women of color, black women specifically, is that they're with the person they're with because black men aren't on their level. Black men are either too colorist, too featurist, too texturist, too misogynist, too misogynoirist, academic failures, societal failures, failure at being patriarchs. The left will never frame it like that. The black females on the left, the black women on the left, they'll never say that's a component. Uh-oh. They won't say it in those words, at least. Dear black men, you have to catch these things. Candace Owens engaged in that, right? And shout out to Charlemagne for calling her out for what. And he was like, "So, how does he feel about you not finding him attractive?" She doesn't find him attractive. Shout out to Charlemagne for saying she don't. Man, he don't get her juice. Yeah, you have 3 kids with him. What pills are you taking, or what drinks are you drinking? You don't. And if you ever seen the interview with her and him, and you see how she was speaking to him and interrogating him, yeah, he might be the one with the money and the power, absolutely. And secretly, he might be the one running things, but physically attracted to him, ah. Mm. So Charlemagne called her out for that, which was funny, and I would argue accurate because it is what it is. We saw it, right? We covered this once again this morning because this actually affects black men. The way Candace Owens speaks about why she's with the white husband that she's with, and the subtle jab of, I'm always on the go. I'm always thinking. If you only understood how my mind works, and I want someone to challenge me. Think about this. If Candace Owens is known as the witty, quick black woman on the right who a lot of people underestimate and she takes their head off, if she's seen as that, and then she's saying that she wanted a challenge, essentially a man to keep up with her, and she just so happened to end up with the rich white man who was a CEO or who is a CEO. Huh, what a coincidence. A white man whose dad, from my understanding, is also a Lords of London. What a coincidence. A black woman who ends up with a rich and connected white man and is telling us, no, it's just love. I mean, it's just love. That's the first thing, and that's the thing right there. It's love. It's nothing to do with opportunism and the fact that, he's a rich white man on planet Earth in the 21st century has nothing to do with that. And yes, I find him, what did she say? I find him beautiful, man. Yawn. And Deadly Shells ask, why don't black men worship white women? It's nothing to worship. The majority of white women don't have the shape that the majority of black men find attractive. There's that first. Black men, believe it or not, black women understand that white women are white on a white hegemonic planet, white dominated planet, white hegemonic country. Right? Everybody thinks that black men are cheering other black men on when they're dating white women. Meanwhile, there's that meme. I don't know if y'all saw it. Video meme, and it's three brothers, and they look like they're in a house party, and some white girl is grinding on a brother, and he's dancing with her, or is he making out with her, or is he dancing with her? And it's young brothers, and the two young brothers that look like they came in with him, they're looking at him like, nah, right? Huh. The reason why black men don't put white women on this type of pedestal is because it doesn't actually raise our stock any bit. Contrary to popular belief, I know, Bowser, I know. There's no way it's not true. There's a reason why Bell Hooks said what she said. Contrary to popular belief, ending up with a white woman as a black man doesn't raise your stock. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't necessarily even symbolize that you're successful. Okay, you got you a white woman. Okay, you got your cute white woman. Okay. The reason why black men don't chase after white women is because it doesn't do for black men what black women ending up with white men does for black women. It just doesn't. Right? In PK says, I mean, there are tons of black men on the right in terms of conservatives and Republican coons. Hysterical. And regular conservative traditionalists. The truth is the truth is a particular brand of conservative, the truth is a particular brand of black conservative. She's the neoliberal-esque conservative that I have spoken about, not a traditional conservative. I agree. And PK continues with, she's a neoliberal Republican draped in conservative ideals and traditional aspirations. She wants to be a modern woman with traditional talking points, which is cool, I guess, but it is what it is. Huh. So, in other words, she's Melissa Ford. So instead of saying progressive traditionalist, she'll say traditionalist progressive. I can't imagine Candace Owens actually saying the word progressive in anywhere that's flattering or laudatory or positive. But essentially, that's what you're saying. Look at when all these black women that disagree intersect and agree. They all agree on the white male peen worship, that part. White masculinity being the preferred masculinity, that part. Even if they prefer seeing white masculinity practiced by black men, even you black liberal, Uzi, you about to say it, and black progressive women. Thank you, PK, and that's my point. And PK says correct, but she can't reconcile it. She's on code with the sisterhood unknowingly, though. There we go. Huh. Look at when all these people agree. Huh? Look at when all these people agree. Madison Brown and Amanda Marianne on one side, Candace Owens and Kim Klacik on the other side, and yet they all agree about the white peen. Huh? Huh? Cynthia G told you end up with anyone but a black man. I don't care who you end up with, just end up with anyone but a black man. And there we go. Huh? And this is the community that Candace Owens comes out of that says love is love, and it feels like we got to go back to Jim Crow, and it's like we're trying to relitigate Loving versus Virginia. Nope, that's not it. It's when black women like you speak, and when women of color like you speak, we know eventually we're going to get to a backhanded insult about men of color, particularly black men if you're a black woman. We know we know it. We know it. We let you talk long enough, and you essentially said these black men were not on my level. They weren't aspirational enough. They weren't opportunistic enough. They couldn't fake enough. Uh-oh. Right? This is the same Candace Owens that said the problem with Hitler is that his aspirations extended out of Germany, and she tried to defend that talking point. You think she don't see race? Okay. You think let's get this right. A black woman married to a rich white conservative man is coming out her mouth like that, and she don't understand race, and she don't see race, and love is love? Yeah, that's it. Remember, this is the same black woman that the New Zealand shooter referenced in his manifesto. The New Zealand shooter, white man, who literally lives halfway around the world, who probably rarely, if ever, saw a black person in New Zealand, and yet he's referencing a black woman in America, from America, in his manifesto before he goes on a mass shooting spree. And you think Candace Owens don't understand race and love is love? Yeah, right. Kanye West, after hanging around with Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, started talking real crazy about the small hats. And I'm not saying he didn't have issues with them before, right? But after hanging around with Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens a little too much, he started calling Trump a father figure. Huh? Negro out of Chicago started sounding like a white surfer dude. Well, he was already on that when he was with Kim Kardashian. Huh? And you gotta know when they around these people for too long, they start talking about being free thinkers. I despise black people talking about this free thinking thing, especially when they come in from the political right and they be around these people too long. Yawn! Are you really a free thinker when you're regurgitating white racist conservative talking points? Be honest what you're really saying. I'm free thinking away from the black community, but everything over there is defective. Stop being a coward and own it. And this is the black woman who y'all think love is love and she don't see race and she just ended up with her husband because he was the right man for her. Yeah. Right. And Global Free Agent, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Candace Owens has 3 kids. And PK says, which is unlikely considering her peers and circumstance. God forbid she has children. She has 3 kids. I thought it was 2. Apparently it's 3. Right? And Premiere says, HuffPost article title, Black podcasters are platforming white supremacy and it's sickening to watch. Points out Joe Budden and the Breakfast Club, Candace Owens thumbnail. I want to be careful with this because I don't want black people not to talk to black people because of our differing political ideology. I'm not with it, and I don't think that the left should be, white left in particular, should be curating or discouraging a conversation amongst black people. To hell with what they think. That's number one. But a caveat to that, number 2, because there is something to be said about this. Politically ignorant black people are allowing other black people to come in after being influenced, heavily influenced, and reshaped and remade in white people's image. So these are chocolate dipped white ideologies. And then because you're interacting with that person and you're seeing them as another black person that you just so happen to disagree with on certain things, you're not understanding that they're really spouting off anti-black talking points because it's coming out of a black mouth. So that part of that title is somewhat correct. But I am not about white folks in particular or black leftists influenced heavily, made in the image of white leftists, telling us, yeah, they're platforming forming white supremacy through black people. Now let's be clear. The sentiment, I believe, is coming from a wrong place. The actual thought process, though, is correct. Right? It is correct. And I understand the Breakfast Club, and I understand Joe Budden, and say, this is a black woman. We can't shun her just because she's married to the white dude or just because she has conservative leanings. I agree. But understand, this is a woman that said that what Hitler did wasn't wrong. The only problem really is that he took that outside of Germany. Number one. Number 2, just like we had smoke for Bill O'Reilly because these manifestos would reference him, or we would find out that these people would watch his television show a whole lot before they go on their anti-black tirades or mass murders. We have to be honest. The New Zealand shooter did reference Candace Owens literally by name. So let's be careful now. Right? And Mr. Shook to you says, we can't underestimate how their childhood experiences influence their rationale. You're right. You're right. You're actually right about that. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. You're right about that. And Mr. Shook to You says, I wonder if she still listens to Jay-Z music, her favorite rapper growing up. You mean the Jay-Z that she didn't know that he's from Brooklyn? Yeah, that's it. Because Jay-Z's your favorite rapper, and you don't know that he's from Brooklyn. And you don't know he's from the Marcy Projects because he hasn't said it, I don't know, a zillion times, especially on his first, I don't know, 5, 6 albums. Right? He literally doesn't say, "Where I'm from, Marcy, son." Yeah, that's your favorite rapper, and you don't know that he's from Brooklyn because he doesn't have songs referencing literally in the hook that he's from Brooklyn. Brooklyn, we go hard, we go. Oh, wait. That's Jay-Z. Yeah, your favorite rapper. Okay. Sounding a whole lot like your vice president listening to Tupac in the 80s. Right? Huh. Once again, this is the woman that doesn't see race. We have to be careful with these people when they speak. I'm not saying, and I don't actually believe in not engaging with them at all, but understand these people are bad actors. They're disingenuous bad actors, right? And you see it in her when she speaks about, growing up in a certain circumstance and be able to put her children in a better circumstance. And you see the mother in her. I'll give her that. You see the mother in her when she said it. Understand what she's saying. I ain't never going back. So if I gotta lie to you Negroes and say it all out, so be it. I'm never going back. It feels great raising my children that they're not the help in the spaces where white folks are. We'll see about that, actually, Miss Owens. We'll see about it. But you see the inner mother in her. When she said that, I'll give her that. Coming from a struggling situation and putting her children in that position after them white boys called you all type of N-words when you was in high school. Oops. What, you think your money and your fame gonna spare you from that? Go ask Russell Simmons' daughter. Ooh, damn, Z. Go ask Russell Simmons' daughter if your parents' money and fame and being black saves you from being called an N-word. Huh? Elite school, super famous, influential father, and you still being called an N-word. And Candace Owens thinks she put her children in a better position. Yeah, financially you did, but Candace Owens, here's the problem. Because you refuse to fight certain narratives about black folks and you're actually helping to forward those narratives, you don't actually save your kids. Black people's problem in America is not just a financial one. Uh-oh. If you don't believe me, go ask Nas. Nas told you he was on a boat. They were chilling, partying, and people walking up to him. Oh, you gonna perform tonight? Wait, what? Am I dressed like I'm gonna perform tonight? Translation: why are you in our spaces and you're not here to entertain us? Go ask Terry Crews about whether being a big, brawling black dude saves you from being groped by a person that you could break in half with your bare hands. Huh? Go ask Maxine Waters about disrespect. Steve Mnuchin was looking at her like, you know, he wanted to call her the B word so bad in Congress. Yeah, she was doing too much. Yes, Maxine Waters was doing too much. Reclaiming my time. I hear you, and she's right. She's right. But you can see it on Steve Mnuchin's face. Ooh, if I could call you the B word right now. The reason why Z covers things like this is to say, remember, she's still, like PK said, she's still playing sister girl politics here. Candace Owens is their like dream. That is the dream. Candace Owens is the prime example of where these people, black women, want to be. This is where they want to end up. And to hell with everybody else black, including other black women. Right? Huh. So she ends up with this white guy. Shout out to her. She tells you love is love, and you know this argument from Dr. Umar Johnson, and then she pretends like she doesn't know who Dr. Umar Johnson is. I doubt it. It's possible. It's possible, but I doubt it. Right? Then she goes on to make this argument. Look, the reason why we choose who we choose in this current environment is because of how we've been informed. How have we been informed in these United States of America? What did we expect Candace Owens to say? Candace Owens pretty much disavows and disagree with anything having to do with white hegemonic power and rule, white supremacy, anti-blackness. She thinks all of those are excuses, or at least she pretends like she thinks that. So what did we expect her to say when it comes to her personal love life, intimacy, and marriage to this rich white dude? And I agree with this. And PK says her archetype will always, excuse me, her archetype has always and will always exist. I agree. Right? Huh. And Jiggin says they are unreliable narrators. Are they? Jiggin also goes to say financial legacy is not a guarantee in white families. They disinherit too. And I get black people. Look, yes, on a planet that white hegemony didn't run, right? Maybe that would be a different conversation. It would be a different conversation if we truly believe in meritocracy. It would be a different conversation if anti-blackness wasn't a thing, if white worship wasn't a thing. We would be having a different conversation about intimacy and love and relationships and who ends up with who and why they end up with that person. That would be a different conversation. But that's not the world we live in, right? That's not the world we live in, right? Huh. And y'all give me a second. Y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. Lion says European standards of masculinity. Absolutely. Vince says, she is the epitome of our skin folk that ain't kin. Excuse me, our skin folk that are. See, get it up. Let's do this again. She is the epitome of our skin folk that ain't our kinfolk. There we go. Right, Dr. Thunder, we in here. Right, and we're just speaking about Candace Owens and J.R. Wisdom, covering Candace Owens, speaking about um her relationship or her marriage to Mr. Former, right? Farmer. Um, because she was on the Breakfast Club a little while ago, for many of us that know. And Charlemagne the God asked, posed the question like, you and your husband, your white husband, and Jess Hilarious asked her if she ever dated a black man, and she said yes, she's dated black men. I don't buy it. I don't believe it, but it's possible. It's possible, right? And can I blame Candace Owens if she's one of these opportunists that would have hitched her wagon to any man that she felt was upperly mobile and that was going to take her somewhere? I can't necessarily blame her for that. That's base black women and women in general, hypergamy. I can't blame her for that. But when you start spouting, and this is how we know it's about race. Once again, this is why Owens is disingenuous. This is how we know it's about race, because what you said about Hitler. This is how we know it's about race, because what the manifesto written by a mass murderer, a mass shooter, a white nationalist in New Zealand, him referencing you as a black woman in his manifesto. That's how we know it's about race. Huh? We know it's about race because Gavin McGinnis is over here saying that how many percent of black people are going to vote Republican back in 2020 didn't happen, but he's a friend of yours. I wonder where would Gavin McGinnis get this idea from as a white man? Huh? Who just so happens to be pals with Candace Owens. Where would he get this idea from? Oh, he did. And B.R. Charles's Buffalo shooter wrote reparations on his gun. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right. So shout out to Candace Owens. No, Candace, this ain't it. If you want to be with the white dude for whatever reason you want to be with him, fine. But once you start talking this love thing and taking subtle jabs at black men, kind of, because the way my mind works, and and I needed someone that challenged me, and the black community is a matriarchy. If you want to be kind, a godocracy. If you want to be accurate, and she's talking about being challenged. That's all black women do in the black community, huh? And it took Charlemagne to kind of lightweight make fun of her. How does he feel about you not finding him attractive? For her to say, no, he's a beautiful man, and yawn, yeah, but Huh? Y'all always is a beautiful, beautiful person when y'all lead with everything but looks, everything but attraction. Y'all lead with everything but he touches my soul, and you know that's one thing you got to give some of these pro-black women, and maybe less so pro-black women, is when you ask them why they're with black men, because he touches my soul, and we agree on so much, or but when you talk to these other people, ain't no soul and love talk, ain't barely even attraction talk. Just pun intended, nuts and bolts, right? The lifestyle talk, right? Hmm. Charles said because he touches my cervix. No, because I touch his wallet. And PK says, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I could have a lot to say, but yeah, she's a mess in her own way, right? Man. And I think this is important what Mr. Shook to you is saying right here. I was born and raised under third world conditions in Chicago. I bust my behind to ensure my family doesn't endure the same thing. Will my daughters also hold it against me and all black men for not being as well off as their peers and parents who are mostly white? I don't think so, Mr. Shook to you. I think what they will do, and this is what you see a trend with black women definitely, is whatever resentment they have towards you, and I don't think that's going to be the case, right? But whatever resentment they have towards you, you know where they're going to direct it? Towards the black young men that they date. Whatever you weren't able to do, Mr. Shook to you, they're just going to tax the black men that they date to do it, right? They're going to tax the whatever young black men they end up with. They're going to have to lift up Jupiter practically, and that's it. But I want to be very clear. This is the tax of that black women are taxing black men with right now. This is the tax on black men right now. The tax on black men right now is the you have to lift you have to lift me and whatever kids I might have for you. You have to lift us up to where upper middle class at the base white people are. I better never feel insecure about our finances and our position in this society ever. I don't suggest it. I told y'all, a few days ago, last week, I was listening to DZ, Divested Zealot. And the same argument I make is the same argument one of the women on her panel was making. It might even been her, but I think it was another woman on her panel that straight up said, black men have had 60 years. I want to be very clear to y'all. The insanity, the absolute level of insanity to think of how long it took white folks to get to where they are, how long it took Asian folks to get to where they are, right? What these women are saying, black women, mind you, and y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, is that 60 years out of Jim Crow on paper. Remember, I said this multiple times. There's been multiple state and local laws that had to been stricken down all through the 70s and 80s and 90s. So on paper, we had cops in Alabama planting drugs on people. We just found that out, what, a decade ago? Yes, they were doing that all through the 2000s and whatnot. Right? How many black men being, deleted by the police unarmed? How often um the US government has to sue one of these, sue, or we find out, oh, wait a minute, this bank is practicing racist practices against black folks. This corporation is being racist towards black folks. These lenders are being racist towards black folks. These people are firing black people to let in Latino. How often do we find these things out? And black women, like the black women that Divested Zealot hangs around with, are telling you, y'all had 60 years. 60 years to do what? Turning you into an upper middle class or rich white woman without potty mouth? Right? And no placeholder. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Right? And yet, that's the environment that Candace Owens comes from, and then tells us race. What race? The I don't see race, I don't see color argument. Okay. Right. So while Z is saying, yo, it's only been like 50 some odd years, 60 years since the end of Jim Crow on paper, and I make fun and mock black women for thinking that black men should have built Wakanda in the past 5, 6 decades. Black women turn around and they're being legit when they say, but no, you should have built Wakanda. Right? You really should have built Wakanda in the past 5, 6 decades. So black women wouldn't feel insecure when they're in the presence of upper middle class, rich, and elite white women, because that's all it is at the end of the day. That's all it is at the end of the day. Huh? So shout out to Candace Owens for bumping out just about. She even bumped off a couple of the white women pundits. Candace Owens is doing her thing on that side. She is a star over there. And her and Ben Shapiro kind of went back and forth about the Israeli Gaza conflict, and she held her own. Okay. No one said she wasn't talented. Disingenuous as hell, liar, fake as hell, but that doesn't mean she's not talented and witty and smart. Right? Is Candace Owens an opportunist? You better believe it. But if you think you hit a 1-2 puncher in a debate just because, good luck. Right? And Dr. Thunder says, and thank you for the super chat, Candace has her issues, but she's no Officer Tatum. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Because at least she didn't say, black people are the real racists. At least from the clip that that JR Wisdom covered, she didn't say that. She did not say that. So I'll give her that, because well, you could tell, man. Going back to that to the clip you watched and I watched of Duck, Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, and her, and you knew it was coming because his wife sucks at this type of thing, and she was telegraphing that that's where they were going to end up anyway. And that's why when you said, "Oh, there we go," I literally was saying at the same time you said, "Oh, there we go," because it wasn't going to be her to say it. Absolutely not. It was going to be him. And that's how we know Brandon Tatum doesn't do anything he does for black people at all whatsoever. He is a panderer, and everything he does is for those white dollars. And so, white racist conservatives, I'm not saying white conservatives are the only racists, so that white racist conservatives can feel a little bit better about being white racist conservatives. Because Brandon Tatum and his ilk give them passes. You're not racist, it's that black people are undisciplined. You're not racist, it's that black people have faulty culture. Because they don't imitate good old white Christian culture that doesn't come with the power, or the wealth, or the influence, and definitely don't come with the skin color that symbolizes all of that. But they should imitate you anyway. Compassionate sis. They've twisted the fabric of reality in their minds so much, right? Doctor Strange, anyone? The snapback will be monumental and earth shattering. I don't know. I think like the Candace Owens types, I don't know. I there's no way Candace Owens never got her Negro wake up call. I think we have to start thinking about these things a bit different when it comes to this, because I think these people know exactly what they're doing. They get Negro wake up calls. They get insulted every once in a while, right? Somebody insinuates something or suggests something, or I mean, I reference it all the time. We saw what happened with Harris Faulkner on Fox News with that she was doing like this kind of cooking segment, and one of the white dudes from Fox and Friends in the Morning said something kind of slick, and she had to low key kind of check him right there on camera. They get that all the time. But once again, your livelihood, the opportunism, what you gonna do? Go postal on this white person for making a quote unquote harmless joke? No, these black people are between a rock and a hard place that they put themselves in, where they just gotta eat that, or do what Harris Faulkner did and just make a little subtle jab back. But Candace Owens, there's no way she can get her Negro wake up call. But for the lifestyle, and that's why I referenced earlier, you saw the mother in her when she was speaking about what she's able to do for her children. She ain't going back. And I understand that. The most you will get from Candace Owens is as she get older, she'll pivot a little bit more to the reasonable side, because one of her kids is going to get punched in the face with one of those reality. And when she realizes, oh crap, the money didn't get me to where I thought it would be, where I would be. I didn't get to run from blackness because of the money. Right? Right? Oh yeah, no, I already know about the discrimination case. I mentioned it earlier, Terrell. And Terrell says Candace is a grifter. She got her first exposed when she filed a discrimination case against Connecticut schools. Yeah, right. And Compassionate says, no, not Candace. She's running a different play. And Dr. Thunder says, that ninja. Right. What's going on, Only Logical? Terrell said, Tatum is ruckus in real life. Don't trust them new Negroes over there. Oh, the internet will expose us all. Thank you, Compassionate, for reminding me about my own goddamn quote. Right? My own quote. The internet will expose us all, and that's all it's doing. So, emphasizing this one more again, we are not here to police what black women do with whoever they want to do it with, what other women of color do with whoever they want to do it with. Once we start getting into the conversation of love and people of color, namely women of color, namely black women, and who they end up with, why they end up with those people, and when those black women take subtle jabs at black men and or imply, suggest, infer that they're with the white man that they're with because black men couldn't keep up, weren't on their level, didn't understand them. Meanwhile, thank you for being here, Doc. Dr. Thunder went out of his way to end up with a black woman. Dr. Thunder was transferring schools in high school to date black girls. In high school. This I don't see race thing, yawn. This, oh, it's my environment, yawn. Right? Hmm. And Mr. Meeches, Candace might actually be black pilled, possibly. You see, Charlemagne checked it a little bit, but he's like, how does he feel about the fact that you don't find him attractive? Uh-oh. You want to talk about doggy style? Uh-oh. You want to talk about doggy style instead of missionary and looking in her eyes? Yikes. Hmm. So once again, to that I say, women of color, do what you want to do with whoever you want to do it with. Obviously, you want black peen for fun and white mixed children because lifestyle. The only reason we cover things like this, once again, is because what is implied, suggested, and often just right out said about black men in relationship to black women and whoever the hell they end up with, that's not black. Whoever they end up with, that is not black. And Candace Owens in this conversation, at least this part of the conversation with the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne in particular, speak to that. No, love is not love. Love is not love on a white dominated planet in a white hegemonic country, a capitalist neoliberal country where white men are the wealthiest group of people in that country. Love is not love, especially when you, as a woman, black women, women of color, end up with said white men or being in a relationship with a white man from that group of white men. Oh, wait, on top of that, an elite rich white man. It ain't love. And that's okay. But you don't get to speak about these things like it race doesn't matter, especially for a person who referenced Hitler and saying what he did wasn't that bad. Uh-oh. Right? PK says she's just Chrissy from a different angle, unironically, or a swirler, divester, soft life woman. That's it. And she might have got there before it really took off, but that's all. She might have got there just before it really started taking off on social media. But and I understand if Candace Owens grew up in a slightly different environment around white folks and Asian folks. Okay, that's understandable. But let me say this. Listen, any person of color in the Western world, but particularly America, namely a black person, a black woman, that y'all see played on race, white hegemony, know that they are the people that are the most aware of white power and influence. Any person of color, namely black person, namely black women, that start doing the 1-2 step and the moonwalk, once we start speaking about race and intimacy, or race and power, race and influence, race and money, they start telling you, well, what about black people? And they start doing the all lives matter talk. Understand you are speaking to someone who is hyper aware of white power and influence, and they're not going to offend white power and influence, even if you're the only two people in the room, you and that other black person. They're telling you, I am so frightened of stepping on the wrong toes. I am so frightened about saying the wrong thing, or I am so comfortable and love the position I am in. There's a pun in there somewhere. I will not transgress. Right? And when we meet those people, we have to take them for who they are. Mr. Z wanted to say take them at their word, but they're lying through their teeth. So you got to take them for who they are. Right? You have to take them for who they are. Right? So Candace is a opportunist, and that's okay. This society breeds opportunists. She's disingenuous as hell, that's okay. But this society breeds disingenuous people, particularly women. And that's okay. But believe who she is. She's showing you who she is, believe her. Right? And Trail says Candace was born a 87 octane, but is a bona fide 92 social climber, isn't she? And she's there now. She's there now. And that's okay. It's okay to own where Candace Owens is, but she is who you think she is. That's why you have to be careful on what you want to actually believe her in. She is an opportunist. She will sell the soap. She'll sell the soap whether she believes in it or not. Candace Owens is not going back to the struggle, and I don't blame her for that. But you have to understand who you're viewing here. You're viewing someone who was born in the struggle and found a way out and is now married to a rich white man. She ain't going back. She ain't going to say nothing real ever. Particularly concerning black people, absolutely not. Right? She's not. And I want to be very, even if Candace Owens didn't believe what she's saying, the fact that she's been on this train for so long, she's going to continue on this train. Candace Owens is not going back. Whether she buys into what she's selling or not, she is not going back. And we cannot blame her for that. right? And y'all gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, so believe who Candace Owens is. And when it comes to intimacy in relationships, be careful on listening to these people. I know the black manosphere, we don't really listen to what these black women be saying anyway, or we do listen and we listen for what they're actually saying, not just the words they're using, the message behind the words, right? As someone who was called all type of N words in high school to the point where she had to press charges, right? Race is all over this woman's life. The fact that we even know who she is a testament to race. Being a black woman conservative voice, when the vast majority of black women, at least publicly, are left leaning, at least centrist left, or center left, better yet. So she's not dumb, but race is all over this woman's life, right? Huh. And for someone like this, once again, I'm gonna keep on making this reference because it was so egregious. This lets you know what her influences, train tracks, what her influences are now. For a black woman to pretty much be saying that what Hitler did wasn't that wrong and his problem was that he extended it too far out from Germany, you think that's just Candace speaking? You think that's not the husband? You think that's not the white conservative influence? Huh? Huh? Candace understands what race is in America. That's why she's playing the game she's playing. I would suspect that Candace got a rude awakening growing up to what white power really looked like. And she's frightened of it. And much like all other women, this is like, they're super good. This is a woman thing if you ever didn't see one. They're afraid of it, so they get under it. Ain't nothing turn them on more than what they're afraid of, right? These are just jokes, kind of, sort of, not really. I suspect Candace got a rude awakening with that case from high school. I suspect she got a rude awakening growing up around a lot of Asians and white folks and seeing what they can get away with, how they can act, particularly white boys, white young men. Oh, yeah, I think she got a rude awakening. And now she thinks she saved herself. And as PK is saying right here, where's the comment? That train has no brakes until it hits a wall of the failure of the train itself. Mark my words, it will be sad. And I think you're referring to Candace Owens and maybe her future. I think that's what you're referring to. But yeah, no, Candace is going to continue down this road until bow. Trell says, I F with Candace. I just don't trust her. She's about that bag, and I can respect the hustle. Yeah, no, she really is. She really is. And we can't discount, you know, her coming from the background that she comes from if what she's saying is to be believed and where she is now, right? Born in 87, okay, right? But I can't listen to you when it comes to nothing black. And it's not, I'm not doing the whole just because you're Republican or conservative, that means that you're a coon. I'm not doing that. But I'm saying you have demonstrated multiple times your warped worldview when it comes to race and when it comes to black people, black upliftment, white power, white men. Oops. And PK says that's exactly what I was referencing to. Yeah, to me, referring to. That's exactly what I was referring to. Yeah, no, I do think, Can Candace is gonna hit that wall. Let's see if it's public or not. Hopefully not. In her case, Dut says I still don't f with Candace personally. Too much of a grifter for me. We all know she's a grifter. I don't think Trell's saying she's not a grifter. I think Trell is saying exactly that. Like, no, she's a grifter, right? I respect the hustle, but she a grifter. My thing, once again, and we can, and coming to an end now. Black people are put in the position to sell out black people. The reason why I'm not as harsh on Candace Owens as I could be is because I understand our social and economic position, and I understand how enticing it would be to have that opportunity in front of you, and the only thing that would stop you is a sense of loyalty to your people and morality. And it's real hard to try to uphold your morality while you're starving. It's real hard to be moral, especially as a woman, a black woman in these United States, when you feel like white women get everything. Meanwhile, as a brown skin or dark skinned black woman, you out here in the struggle. Right? That's funny. Vincent, she's a Sith Lordess or Sith Mistress. Hysterical. Right? So I understand. I definitely understand, why Candace would engage in this conversation about race the way she does and her relationship the way she does, right? But as I said to JR Wisdom before, let's not act like Candace Owens isn't put there to be the lightning rod for anyone that's look the Republicans and the conservatives and racism and anti-blackness and they could be like, Candace Owens is one of our leading stars. We can't be racist if we have this unambiguous brown skinned black woman as the face, as one of the most prevailing faces actually of not the Republican Party but of the conservative right. And let's be very clear, depending on where, Candace Owens can make a run for politics. Depending on where, Candace Owens could get herself elected. Like now. I'm not even giving it 10 years. I'm saying now, depending on where she runs, Candace Owens could find herself in political office if she wanted to. Now, would it be high ranked? Not necessarily. I don't think Candace could pull off Senate. She can't pull off Senate. But Congresswoman somewhere? Yes. Right now, yes. Right now. Right? Hmm. So I could imagine being Candace Owens, coming from her background and being in this position that you're in now, pun intended. You're not, and people are calling you all type of coon and sellout and whatever, but you live in this lifestyle. Oh, to hell with all of that, right? To hell with what they're talking about. I can imagine what that process. I'm living this dope life, right? I'm a black woman that got chose by a rich white dude, not upper middle class, not middle class. I got chose by a rich white dude. He didn't just pipe and leave. No, I got the wedding ring and everything, the kids and everything. I can imagine a black woman in that position. She not, look, man, and y'all telling her to stop selling out and stop tap dancing and cooning and stop playing down anti-blackness from white folks, right? She's looking at y'all like, for what? Lifestyle. I achieved it. Lifestyle. Right? And a split Jim says, and thank you for the super chat, they say Dr. Umar and her should debate. Debate what? I'd rather watch her and Amanda Seales go at it. That would be a good one. Ebony K. Williams, because she's an attorney. Ebony K. Williams, but her and Amanda Seales would be a good fit also. But I think Ebony K. Williams, and I think Ebony K. Williams will wash the floor with her. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I think Candace is fast and witty and intelligent, but when they start getting up there on the sister girl, I'm better than you thing, I think the one thing that's gonna hurt Ebony is that she's not married. She's exposed herself a little too much about her issues, and that's a problem, because y'all know how women, particularly black women, get at each other and subtly like jab at each other. But I think both of those women are talented enough to take each other's head off, right? It'll be one of those situations where both people die at the end. They both grievously wounded the other, and they both die at the end. Right? I think Candace and Amanda would be a good conversation also. But once again, Amanda Seales, once again, not being married, but very publicly speaking about men this way. I think these women, they give other people the gun to shoot them with. Right? They give other people the gun to shoot them with when it comes to this part of the conversation. Right? But I think Ebony K. Williams would be a good match for her. I think that would be a good match. I think Amanda Seales also. I think you're correct about that, because both of those women are talented enough. But I'll give it to Ebony K. Williams more than Amanda Seales. Right? Especially when you see the Ebony K. Williams that's not speaking about black men, please continue to not speak about black men. When you see, I said Amanda Seales, sorry. When you hear the Ebony K. Williams that's not speaking about black men, that's when you see her talent really show, right? When you see the Ebony K. Williams that's really about this quote unquote black excellence, that's when you get to see that's when you really get to be like, okay, that's someone I wouldn't mind having as an attorney. That's okay. There go the talent right there. There go the intelligence right there. Right? So Anton is correct. Like, if you want a manager, if you want somebody that's gonna get stuff done, Ebony K. Williams is your woman. Marriage? Yeah, maybe not. Right? Maybe not. Relationship? Maybe not. Right? From Africa I came, sis. Sister girl samurai duel. Exactly. Right? Man. But the problem, a split Jim, the problem with Dr. Umar Johnson is his pandering. Dr. Umar Johnson would be on some sister girl thing, and sister, and trying to shame her on some race thing. Candace has made herself practically immune to that. You're gonna hit her on some. There's a way you can shame Candace Owens. There's a way you can shame her. That's not the way Dr. Umar Johnson would do it. Dr. Umar Johnson would come to her with that hotep, right? Africa centric sister girl, talking to her like he's her, like she's his little sister type thing. No, Candace will wash him with that. That's easy work for him. I mean, excuse me, for her. That'll be easy work. Dr. Umar can't. No, Candace Owens will make Dr. Umar look like a big dumb oaf. Right? Jake says, "Nah, Ebony can't make a good argument. Hence why she's not a lawyer." I thought it's because she let her. Ooh, this is a good one. Yeah, Angela Rye. Angela Rye. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I've seen serious Angela Rye. Something's up with Angela Rye. Angela Rye is cute. She's an attorney. She comes from a strong background family. Father was a civil rights leader. Why aren't you married? Right? And she has a funny ass laugh. She has an infectious laugh. Any of us that seen the clip where Paris Denard, Don Lemon, Angela Rye, and Mark Lamont Hill were speaking about, what were they talking about? And Mark Lamont Hill said something like, I don't know why you would be at Cheesecake Factory. It was something like that, but this is way before the whole Cheesecake Factory debacle, by the way, or something like that. He said something like that, and all of them started laughing except for Paris Denard, clearly. And it was Angela Rye laugh that made me laugh. That laugh right there, right? So a split gym, yeah, not Dr. Umar Johnson. Nope. Ishmael says she's fine as hell to me, and I don't even like red bones. Oh, Ishmael, you can't let Chrissy and them hear you say that. Because you forgot, like, all of us are chasing after all the light skinned black women. I have a light skinned black woman, and I don't even chase after light skinned black women. Right? But let Chrissy tell it. We are colorists to the level of Nazis. Right? Ishmael says, no disrespect, it's her attitude, though. You can tell. We know it. You know I had to say what I said. We know. Right? Better use it too. Because she's an a-hole. Jake says, because she's an a-hole. Right? We know. Now, I would pay to see this. No, legit. I would pay to see BGS. Shout out to Mr. Shook to you. Thank you for the super chat. A split gym once again. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Shook to you. I would pay. I literally would pay to see BGS versus Dr. Umar Johnson. I would literally, I'm not joking. I really mean it. I would pay to see BGS versus Dr. Umar Johnson. I would pay for that like it's pay-per-view. I mean it. If they're speaking about black boys, black men, particularly, because I think they're in agreement with black men and better yet, black boys, education. And BGS has said that, like, you know, when Dr. Umar stays in his lane over there, he's the ish. But the second we start talking about relationships and intimacy and black women, oh, BGS would wash the floor with Dr. Umar Johnson. It wouldn't even be close. All Dr. Umar Johnson would have is shaming language and what we supposed to do. And brother, you sound like a racist and all that other stuff. Right? Huh. Lion, Lion about to get attacked. Lion says, I want a light-skinned black woman. Yeah, I said it. Oh, man. And see, brother, that's the problem right there, brother. And Lion says, we're not supposed to do anything. We don't owe women a damn thing. See, brother, that's the problem right there, brother. You sound like a coon, brother. Right? What Willie D said? Oh, raccoon. You sound like a raccoon, brother. Right? Exactly, Ishmael. BGS will wash him. BGS will wash him. It wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't even be close. Because Dr. Umar Johnson continues to speak as if he doesn't understand that black men and boys are responding to black women and girls in their misbehavior and their misandry. Dr. Umar Johnson comes from the school of thought, or at least he pretends to come from the school of thought, that women only are reacting in response to black men and what we lack and what we haven't done and what we haven't built and who we aren't. Dr. Umar Johnson does not speak about or does not frame anything in the way that women of color, black women specifically, once again, Hotep, black women specifically, act the way they do because of their idea and concepts of freedom. Number one, negative liberty. Number two, jealousy of not being upper middle class white women. Like Dr. Umar Johnson does, he just like, I don't, because notice what I'm not saying. I'm not saying he doesn't know. I'm saying he acts like he doesn't know, or there might be certain blind spots where Dr. Umar Johnson like speaks as if black women first have a very toxic understanding of quote unquote freedom and what that entails. Number one. Number two, they're just outrightly, plainly jealous. Jealous is not even a strong enough of a word. Envious of upper middle class white women's position. And they want to imitate upper middle class white women, particularly all of the negative aspects of upper middle class white women. And I think because BGS understand that, he'll yeah, I don't even think it'll be close. I think he'll wash Dr. Umar Johnson. Thank you. And Ismail said that'll be light work for BGS. It won't even be close because Dr. Umar is going to come to him with all this coon and assuming that BGS, not understanding that BGS like him some black women, especially darker skinned black women, assuming that BGS is probably chasing after white women or he bitter about something. And because that's the framing that Dr. Umar Johnson would try to use, he just won't understand what BGS, oh, better yet, he won't be sufficiently equipped to have a conversation with BGS about black men, black women relationships or lack thereof. Right? Better you. Don't you start no stuff in my comments. And better you says, for the record, my Yanny, just light brown, not red. LOL. Yanny's another one. Yanny is another. Look, man. Look. 5'10", body, lost weight, which shows she has some type of discipline. But she's a little thrown off. I'm watching Yanny reach. I'm watching her reach, man. I'm watching her mental state. When she posts these videos, there's little comments that she says that lets you know, like, you need a man in your life. You need a black man in your life. You need a black man like one of these brothers in the black manosphere. You don't need a panderer. Yanny is another one that her being single is a testament to her attitude or attitude problem. And like I said before, the money that Yanny now earns on YouTube and whatever she might have invested that money in it's not going to put her in a better position to end up with a man, namely a black man. It's actually going to hinder her. It's going to hinder her with black men in particular, and it's gonna make her, if she act dumb with these white and Latino dudes, it's gonna make her a mark for one of these white and Latino dudes. Too many black women with a couple of dollars use those dollars to get into spaces around white men that play their ass and use them. Good point too, Neymar. And Neymar says, let's not forget that BGS has been in the conscious community for a very long time. That part too. Detroit says Candace versus Cynthia G. What would their argument be exactly? What would they be disagreeing on? Both of them believe in genocide. Oops. What would they be? What would exactly would they be disagreeing on? Candace, because of her public image, wouldn't want to say abort black male babies outright. She wouldn't want to say that so overtly. They would not be disagreeing on strategy. They, if at very most, they would be disagreeing on rhetoric and tactics. At most. Right? Yeah, Nima, that's true. BGS said he has interviewed Dr. Umar Johnson. I think he said like 3 times. And Nima says, BGS is no stranger to Dr. Umar Johnson. They're aware of each other. The worst thing Dr. Umar could do is dox BGS. True. Right? What exactly would Candace Owens and Cynthia G be disagreeing on exactly? Right? Africa from Africa came said, we need a conscious community Royal Rumble. Winner leads gets to lead the black community. Didn't we have that a few years ago? When Dr. Umar Johnson was making fun of what's his name and calling him on top of light skin and it's because of your European blood. Ooh. Uh-oh. Dr. Umar Johnson looked like he came out on top with that one. We have this every once in a while when Dr. Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed went at it. We had it when Tariq and Jason Black on one side, and this is more political ideology fight. Tariq and Jason Black on one side, and Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks on the other side, where I would argue, to be honest with you, Jason Black and Tariq Nasheed came up on top, and yeah. Hey, I'm not ADOS, so I ain't even gonna say nothing about that, but okay. Every once in a while, that's not even every once in a while, it's like at least once a year we have one of these let's get ready to rumble between very influential and powerful black people every once in a every you know. Oh yeah, Ron O'Neal and Tariq Nasheed. I don't think I don't know if they would really disagree. I think Tariq, because of his public face and because the way black women see him, I don't know if I think Tariq would speak as if he disagrees with Dr. Ron O'Neal, but I don't think he really does. If they were to debate, I don't think he really would disagree with Dr. Ron O'Neal. I think because the way he knows black women see him, I'm speaking about Tariq Nasheed, he would publicly disagree with Dr. Ron O'Neal, but I think he knows exactly what the black manosphere is on. And I don't think, and especially he didn't speak negative about Kevin, even after his death. Tariq know what we saying is true. Remember, Tariq is not the one calling us the winosphere. That's Jason Black that's saying that. Right? That would be a good one. Manosphere versus Pro Black 2025. I think the best thing, this is the simplest argument. This is the beginning and end, crush it argument. For what? That's all black men have to say. If you were ever to get in a debate with the pro blacks, for what? Why should black men? That's it. Why should black men do such and be such and such for black women? Because the black community is a matriarchy. Let black women run it into a ground. Not into a ground, sorry, into the ground. For what? Beginning, end. Why should they? Because responsibility is your job in a black man. Why should they know the black community is a matriarchy? Black women love it being a matriarchy, so let them have it. I'm gonna be over here with Becky. Or make it even worse. Take that argument away from them. I'm going to Africa. I'm gonna go find me a black woman. She's just not gonna be Americanized. Black women can have this. Right? Hmm. Right? And Mr. Shook to you says, and thank you for the super chat, Doctor once again, and Doctor T Hassan Johnson versus FD Signifier. FD don't want them problems. That's why he ducking and dodging Doctor T. Doctor T has had an open invitation for over a year now for FD Signifier. FD Signifier don't want them problems. First of all, he doesn't want to legitimate Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. He doesn't want to bring Dr. T. Hassan Johnson on. FD is making an in run. I said it before. He's running around us. Every once in a while, he'll come in here, he'll listen in, he'll engage, but he don't want to legitimate anything we saying. This man told you he's attempting to tone police us. Number one. Number two, he tried to find a really interesting way of saying patriarchy under feminist specifications, or like they're trying to say now, but benevolent patriarchy, because they realize actually we do want paymaster men, and some of us, the majority of us, not the extreme feminists and definitely not the radical feminists and the politically lesbian feminists, but yeah, we kind of do want men to open doors. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do want men to walk on the outside of the sidewalk. Yeah, we do. Oh, that's patriarchy. We can't let the men know that we're full on hypocrites. Right? So, yo, no, FD signifier, he doesn't want to engage with Dr. T. Hassan Johnson because whoever sent him, whoever he's in quote unquote community with, their problem with Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is the same problem that Bowser has with Dr. Thunder. It's the same problem they have with Dr. Tommy Curry. It's the same problem, even though they don't know who he is in reality. Dr. Green Gorilla, is your job as black academic men is not to tell black men that their concerns are legitimate, particularly their concerns concerning black women. Your job is to lecture down to them and intellectualize black misandry. That's what your job is. Your job is not to tell them that their concerns concerning black women are legitimate. FD doesn't want to tell Dr. T. Hassan Johnson that to his face. He doesn't want to say it. And if him and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson were to have a conversation, definitely a debate, eventually he's gonna have to say it. He's not gonna say it in those words, but he's gonna have to say it. Dr. T, don't you want to be over here with me with the money? There's a whole lot of money off of blowing smoke up black women's ass. There's a whole lot of money off of telling black men, hey, bow down to the gynocracy. Right? So no, and that is why they're trying to take over. That's why you see, and shout out to Jason Black for covering that article. Detoxifying the manosphere. And if they're saying detoxify the overall manosphere, then that means detoxify the quote unquote black manosphere also. And this is where FD comes in, and this is where foreign man and a foreign land comes in, right? And what they're attempting to do is get us nice and comfortable with Bowser and her misandry, and with Khadijah and her cute LGBTQing of black men, right? And then to get us real comfortable with T Noir and her on and off misandry. No, not T Noir, sorry, wrong person, not you, T Noir, my apologies. Nappy headed Ahoba and her on and off. And get us comfortable with Juicy and T Noir are probably the better at this, but definitely Juicy, and get us comfortable with Juicy. That's yeah. That's all that he would be doing, right? That's all FD would be doing. That's all he and if he had a conversation with Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is a scholar also. Let's not ever forget. A really good one at that. Right. Detroit says Boyce Moist Watkins versus MOT. That's another one. What would they be disagreeing with about? Excuse me. What would they be disagreeing about once again? Right. And PK says he picks people, which leads me to believe he has handlers. I wonder. Right. I wonder because I've spoken to the brother a couple of times. Um. Yeah. And shout out to him for engaging with me on my tiny ass channel as a person who's fastly approaching 700,000 subscribers. I want y'all to understand as a content creator, that's dumb. Especially doing that in like practically no time. Yes, he's had a channel for a little while, but like he really started doing numbers over the past couple years, and it's insane. It's insane watching that climb, right? And we're talking about on his main channel, not the other two, right? I don't think MOT would go for bailing out single mothers. Yeah, that might be where he's draw the line. That's true, right? So yeah, no, these different pairings or debates that y'all are speaking of, it depends because some of these people agree, and I think that would be something to expose people how much they agree, and certain people that you think are far more radical than they actually are actually agree with some things. I'm speaking about the people that supposedly occupy this side. Uh-oh, right? But Tariq versus like Dr. Ron O'Neill, no, I think Tariq knows what we're saying and he agrees with us for far more than he could publicly let on because of how many black women follow him and support him because they find him attractive, right? And how many young men follow Tariq because he's the cool uncle, right? Tariq understand the game, especially for somebody that went from Alabama to LA with what he said is nothing in his pocket. All right, fine. Some of y'all might know a different story, but if what he's saying is even somewhat true, he know how women treat men when they don't have their money together like that. How they speak about them. Tariq is all up and down the black community. I know he live up in the hills. He live in a nice area now, but he's all over the black community. He know, right? So that I don't think it would really be a debate, to be honest with you. He would disagree with Dr. Ron O'Neill um to save face, to be honest with you. At least that's the way I view it. Yeah, he was talking about Brazil. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Tariq was the first to talk about Brazil. Yes, he was. He was talking about Brazil. I don't know if he was the first, but yeah, he was. Yeah, I was there for that. I was there for Mac lessons, Tariq. I still have some Mac lessons on my iTunes somewhere, on my iPod somewhere. Yeah, no, I was there for Mac lessons, Tariq. Right. So I'm not even gonna pretend like that's not a thing. Right. So we have to be very clear about. Excuse me. where this comes from, once again, tying this to the subject matter and, about to end out. Um, Candace Owens, women of color in general, black women specifically, when we start speaking about relationships and intimacy, particularly with white folks, namely white men, obviously, right? We have to be honest about the current environment and why black women like a Candace Owens sound the way they do, right? And I like this one. And Anton versus RZA. RZA Islam. Okay, here's the problem. I think RZA would understand where the current iteration of Anton Daniels. We're not talking about Anton Daniels from 2 years ago. We're talking about the Anton Daniels that is quickly becoming frustrated when, shout out to Obsidian, with black women's effery, black female effery. This current iteration of Anton Daniels speaking to a Rizla Islam, I think Rizla Islam understand. He would understand what Anton Daniels is saying. Could he say it publicly? Absolutely not. Particularly as a brother from the Nation of Islam? Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope. He know what it is. I don't expect him to say it publicly. No. Uh-uh. Nope. Right? There's a lot of people. Understand. Y'all remember, what was it, last year? The brothers from the Hotep brothers, one of the younger brothers, brought up the black women's misbehavior in a stream, and he held the mic for a few minutes, and they know that he was telling the truth, and then they redirected the conversation. Anybody has that clip? Please send me that clip. I did not save it because Mr. Z is good for not saving these like milestones, right? These important parts of the conversation, right? But yeah, no, I think this current iteration of Anton Daniels, I think that Riza Islam would understand exactly where he's coming from, would agree with him, but can't do it publicly. You remember, like, when we think of the obligations or what these people swear allegiance to or what angle these people are coming from, I think they're between a rock and a hard place. It really puts them in the position to sell out to what they quote unquote the side that they're on. I'm not saying sell out the side that they're on. I'm saying sell out the truth for what they sworn their life or their legacy to. And I think Rizla Islam would understand where Anton Daniels is coming from, but he could not say it publicly, right? He just couldn't, right? So once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. And Mr. Shook to you says Sotomayor versus Synthetic G simply for the entertainment. You know it'd be entertaining. They would be yelling at each other. Wait. Hair-hatted hooligan versus Dusty Betamal Coons. Both of them would be like, off with your head. They'll be shouting over each other. Rhetorically, we would be this would be World War III. Both of them would be speaking damn near genocidal talk. Both of them would be speaking genocidal. Right? Man. Now, both of them would be speaking hair-hatted hooligan versus Dusties, beta male Dusties, black beta male coons. Nah, yeah, they would, yeah, nope, yeah, that, I don't know if I couldn't watch it live. I would have to watch it after so many of y'all tell me, Z, you got to watch it and review it. Z, you got to watch it and review it. Because it would just be a shouting match. You want to talk about ending up in Auschwitz? This would be China versus excuse me, not even China versus US. Maybe Russia versus US. And yes, going nuclear. Going nuclear. There's no way. There's no way. Right? Sotomayor versus synthetic. He said synthetic G. And thank you for the super chat, Mr. Shook to you. Nah. And Detroit says Big Truck versus Young Pharaoh. Where they both be shouting too. Talk about shouting. Ooh, that's a good one. Both of them be shouting. Particular Big Truck. I don't know if Young Pharaoh would disagree with Big Truck on certain. See, Big Truck be talking about. He be talking about foreign women a bit too much for Young Pharaoh to agree with that. But the misbehavior of black women, see, I don't. But Young Pharaoh can't say that out loud, right? Young Pharaoh can't say that out loud. So the passport bros element of young Big Truck speaking, see, that's the thing that. So that's already a non-starter for Young Pharaoh. But then once Big Truck starts speaking about black women's misbehavior, even if Young Pharaoh agrees, which I'm almost certain he would agree with internally, he can't say that. He can't say it. He can't agree with that publicly, right? Man, I gotta read this one. In Design and Arts is Corey Holcomb versus Candace Owens. Uh, I think as a I used to be a super avid listener of Corey Holcomb, but after the Zoe Williams debacle, I couldn't do it. So now I catch him sparingly. It depends on what it is. I don't think I've listened to a whole stream in years, but I still listen to certain segments. And shout out to Corey, he's still my favorite comedian. I missed the last time he came down here to South Florida. I'm gonna try to catch him next time. Um, so me and my girl could be laughing our asses off. I've caught him a couple of times before, but I think Corey would be out of his depth. Excuse me, Corey would be out of his depth, but it would make for good entertainment, and he would definitely be flaming Candace, but he'd be out of his depth. He's not. Yeah, that's not. No, no, that's not him. Yeah, he ain't ready for that. Right? He's not ready for Candace. Candace is talented, y'all. She plays to her advantage. She knows people see her as a airheaded black woman, and she's wittier than them and she's quicker than them. She may not be as knowledgeable as them, but she's witty and quicker than them. And if she finds a hole in your argument, she will exploit it to the nth degree. Right? And I would suspect Candace would be better versed at dismantling a carry. Excuse me. Why do Candace would be better at dismantling Corey's arguments than Corey would be at dismantling Candace's arguments. Corey would accurately understand who Candace is, but I don't think he would know how to be serious for a second and really know how to drill down on her and why she occupies the space she occupies. Right? I think he would know it, but the talent is in saying it not to Candace, but saying it to the audience and to her white benefactors. Like, I know why y'all put Candace here. Now, you would be framing it like you're speaking to Candace, but really you're talking above her and to the people behind her. Right? Right? Yeah. Who else we got here? But yeah, no, yeah. Split Jim, this is funny. Split Jim says, "Yo, we need a shout out to once again. Thank you for the super chat, Split Jim, and thank you for the super chat, Detroit." And Split Jim says, "Yo, we needed trading cards at this point. We do need trading cards at this point. Pokemon style trading cards, right?" I see your Dr. Umar Johnson, and I raise you Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, right? Man. So no, yeah, no, these would be good, but like I said, Candace, this white worship thing, bro, and then couching it as love, and then subtly jabbing at black men, essentially saying black men were not on your level, right? Essentially saying black men were not on your level, right? Edward Anderson versus Ed is quick. Ed is quick and Ed is knowledgeable, deceivingly knowledgeable. Ed is quick. Now, Ed versus Candace Owens. Now, that would be, yes, Ed is quick. Ed is really good at the one-liners, and that would mess Candace Owens up. Right. Ed is good at the one-liners, the catchy one-liners. Yeah, no, Ed, yeah. Oh, man. Mr. Shikti says, Obsidian versus Bowser face-to-face. She's not ready. She's not ready. Because her talking points are old and stale. Meanwhile, Obsidian would put her in the position to show the hypocrite that she is. If they had a conversation online, a debate online, or in person on camera, Bowser would have to do far more conceding to the point where she wouldn't, because her ego wouldn't let her, than Obsidian would. Right? Because this is the thing that a lot of black women don't fully appreciate about why there's this big hub, particularly among men, black men, when it comes to man issues and whatever. The reason why it looks like y'all just woke up one morning and it was all this manosphere talk and young men and dating and relationships and how young men think and feel is because for decades y'all had the microphone and all y'all did was say misandrous things. All the media did was mock men and masculinity and boys. And women's hypocrisy, women's gold digging, women's cheating, women's snarkiness and rudeness and meanness, coldness and shrewdness, I could go on forever, was minimized. And what social media did was allow men to speak. That's why some of y'all actually have the ovaries to say, take away the microphones from these dudes, deplatform them. Because you don't have an argument for your own hypocrisy. Duh, you're attempting to reframe it. Shout out to FD Signifier. But you don't have an argument to defend your hypocrisy. You told us I could do bad all by myself. You told us I don't need no man. The numbers say different, though. The numbers say different, though. The numbers say different about where women are financially before men and after men. How many women are millionaires off of their own right, and how many women are millionaires because of their husband. And how many men are millionaires because of their wife or their wife wealth was substantial to them becoming millionaires. The numbers say different, ladies, and Bowser would not know what to do with Obsidian on that point. Yes, that includes even in the black community. How many homeless black women there are, how many black women are struggling, how many black women are being kicked out of homes and apartments, etc., etc. Because as much as Bowser speaks as if she's speaking for black women writ large, no, Bowser is speaking about a very specific class of black women. And other black women ignorantly are aligning with her. She ain't talking about you. right? So Obsidian and um Bowser, yeah, no, that would be Obsidian all day. That would be a fail all day. Because what she's gonna try to do is hit Obsidian upside the head with some Bell Hooks quotes, with some James Baldwin quotes, with some stats out of context. Want to say that we can't read statistics. With some stats out of context, if even, with some shaming language, with some "we're doing better than you" when black women are not. First of all, this "doing better than you," black man versus black woman, even when I engage in it, it's foolish. Black people are attached by the hip. But this idea, and this is very important, this idea that black men are weighing black women down, this is where she really comes in. This is Bowser. Black men are weighing black women down because black men refuse to accept this newfound power and freedom and autonomy that black women have. And black men, like yours truly, and like Obsidian, shout out to and it would work would excuse me, what would work, there we go, tongue tied, pause. What would work in Obsidian's favor is how often he says book a session, right? Why is that important in what I'm saying? Because it would show that Obsidian and other black men, like yours truly, don't have a problem with black women's autonomy, but we want you to eat all of it, including those consequences that come with your perceived autonomy. That's why FD said they're looking for autonomy and security. No. Take that autonomy and go somewhere. Huh? And the fact that Obsidian speaks about book a session speaks to, yeah, you can have your autonomy. And if you need my help, you got to pay. Huh? You don't get to figuratively, if not literally, give me the middle finger until you need my quote unquote help. You don't get to, I could do battle about myself. Who wants to be with average anyway until you're struggling? Nope. Until you can't eat all the positivity coming out of Bowser's mouth. You don't get to give me the middle finger until you realize, oh, wait, I don't earn the type of money Bowser earns. She made me feel good about my position juxtaposed to black men, but in actuality, I kind of need them. AZ, how you doing? Right? So Bowser versus Obsidian, nah. Because what she's going to reference, Obsidian already knows. And I think she would find Obsidian far less toxic than she actually thinks he is, particularly in a debate. And it would be much more difficult for her to paint him as toxic, which she would have to paint him as just this all ornery black man, which is that's already what she's going for, who doesn't want to get down with the times. But it's much easier for Obsidian to paint her for who she is, right? Z, what is that? There's a reason why I didn't say it, right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat again. And Detroit says, Angry Man versus Taz the Abusives. Huh. This would be interesting because Taz often does that "I'm better than you" or "I know more than you" angle. And I don't know if he could pull that with Angry Man. I don't think he could pull that with Angry Man. Right? I don't think he could pull that with Angry Man because I don't think Angry Man would care about your quote unquote knowledge and what you act like. It wouldn't that wouldn't be the deterrence to make a cogent argument about why we should be backing, defending, funding, loving, taking back black women with bad behavior. Black women after they got used by the white guys and non-black guys. Black women after they knowingly engaged in situationship in relationship with Pookie. Black women after they had one or two kids from Pookie. It would be a very difficult argument for Taz to forward. And I don't even think Taz actually fully agrees with that, but he's going to make that argument. And Angry Man might put him in the position to make that argument, and then Angry Man take his head off on the other side of that. Right? Bro, it's not, nah. Crimson Cure versus Divested Zealot. I don't even want to do that to Crimson Cure. Not that I'm saying that I don't think she has the acumen and the discipline. I wouldn't want to do that because I wouldn't want to dirty Crimson Cure's hands with that. Divested Zealot is a potty mouth, loud mouth, crass, rude, mean. Like, Divested Zealot is literally all of the negative stereotypes you can think of about a black woman rolled into one. Now, I don't know how she looks physically, but if she's a heavier set black woman, it's just Divested Zealot, particularly concerning black men, she's unhinged. She can barely contain herself. And that's her and all her. Yo, shout out to all of you who have never listened to her speak. I'm good for you. But Mr. Z is a sadomasochist, and I've heard her speak multiple times. How, y'all couldn't get through a live stream with her. I'm telling you, you couldn't. Putty mouth, aggressive, abrasive as hell, annoying. Sounding like she'd been drinking half the time. Just you H's, you B's, you D's, you N-word this, you and she complains about YouTube censorship because she really want to sound like a Nazi when it comes to black men. Right? Man. Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, I know. Detroit says, nah, Michi X versus Divested Zealot. Let the battle of profanity commence. Because that's all it would be. A bunch of B's and H's flying around. Right? That's all it would be. It'd be a bunch of B's and H's flying around. Right? And quite frankly, I don't know if Michi, and it's very interesting because both of them would come at it kind of from the Bougetto angle, the bougie ghetto angle, the I'm better than you super hood angle. Right? No, that would be yeah. That would be an interesting conversation. PK said, LOL, what? Bougetto? You never heard Bougetto before? Bougie ghetto? I think Dr. Thunder laughed the first time I said it because I don't think he have ever heard it before too. I think he first heard me say that last year sometime. Yeah. I need an explanation. Bougie ghetto. Juvenile with some glasses on. Right? DMX with some glasses on. Rest in peace. Bougie ghetto. Bougie ghetto is, who would I say is bougie ghetto right now? Glorilla. That picture with Glorilla at the White House, Bougetto. Right? Who else is Bougetto? What's it? Meg the Stallion. Bougetto. Meg the Stallion, definitely Glorilla. Right? Not what's her name? That's with Blueface. Not Sexy Red. Not them. They way too far. Too ghetto. Tattoos on the face type thing. Yeah, that's too far. right? But Glorilla and Meg Thee Stallion, who else would I say fits into that Bugetto lane? I think those are the two most like prominent people you could say, right? PK says, "Is it by proximity? Is it by virtue of their proximity to power or what? No, there it's bougie and ghetto, or it's ghetto. And, you know what? It's your aunt straight out the hood, like the gutter, that just came up on some money, or she was saving some money and she was living a bit humble, and the D boy that hid all his money at her house just died, and now she can spend it, and there's no paper trail back to her. Bugetto, right? She moved into a certain type of neighborhood. She has nice jewelry. She still keeps her day job, right? But when she wear jewelry and when the white women and Asian women wear jewelry, it don't look the same, right? And Ghost-O-Matic says, y'all see CNN interview Glorilla? No, I did not. Hashtag Tingle Pathology. No, I did not. But guess what I'm about to do at the end of the stream, right? PK says, I mean, these women's class is relatively low. Like, I don't understand, even with the explanation, right? I thought we were paneling. Oh, that should be later on today. That's later on today, right? This is a reckless streams, by the way, right? No, yeah, no. What I was gonna say? No, Bougetto is bougie ghetto, or maybe it should actually be ghetto bougie to emphasize the ghetto first. But Bougetto is bougie ghetto, right? Is it that you have some of the money, right? But right, it just looks different. You move a little different, right? Sweetie, nah, Sweetie is definitely not Bougetto. I wouldn't say Sweetie's Bougetto. I think Sweetie wanna be Bougetto. It comes off so inauthentic. And she's cute. Says Bougetto. Sweetie is, I find her attractive, but eh, Sweetie and what's the other thick ass light skinned sister? I think she's out of California. What is her name? Mm, what is her name? She another one, I think. Like these are your cousins that like were doing ish. Your uncle and your aunt would do it ish. They would come and visit, right? But like they're not, right. Ruby Red? No, not Ruby Red. What's the name? Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Um, real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Lotto. That's who I was speaking about. Lotto. Right. That's the thing with Sweet. Like so Sweetie. I hate saying. I just want to say Sweetie. But yeah. I said this before on Rogan's channel. She don't give no talent. She's just an attractive, mixed-ish looking black woman. right? Oh, she's from Ohio. I thought she was from California. I don't know why somebody told me she's from LA-ish area. Okay. And Saint Cyr says, "Oh, Lotto, she is from Ohio. That's why I couldn't think of who you were referencing." Yeah, I'll find her attractive too. Can't do nothing with it, right? Huh. And PK says their class hasn't changed. They just have money now. Yes and no. Yes, you're right. I look at, but because I look at them and then I look at their kids and I just think it's a bit different. You know who else I think is Bugetto? And probably Toya's gonna laugh at this one. Probably the face of Mel Bugetto, Fabulous. And shout out to Fab, right? But I listen to a whole lot of Fab. I love his beat selection pause. I love, yeah, no, I listen to a lot of Fab. Fab is probably the male face of Bugetto, right? Saint Cyr says Lotto is one fine black white woman. uh, Taylor said, "Yes, sir. Fab is he should be the face of and then he's what Dominican descent too? Yeah, Dominican. Yeah. The Fab is like that is Bugetto. Always taking trips. Definitely like to Dubai and Abu Dhabi type thing. The way he raps. But if you look at his style and the way he dresses, Bugetto all day, every day. Latino black man, yeah, Bugetto from New York, definitely. Benzino, 2 Chainz, yeah. 2 Chainz, I'll put him up there too. I would say Rick Ross. I would, and he is in there. Although I'll put Fab higher ranked on the Bugetto scale. Look at us. Listen how we sound. Compassionate Fab is Dominican. Get the hell out of here. No, he is. Toy, am I lying? What, you thought it was only Noriega? No, there's a couple of Afro Latino rappers that you would have never thought were Latino, right? But yeah, oh yeah, I was mentioning Rick Ross. Rick Ross, because Rick Ross, though, the thing with Rick Ross is he leans heavy on that opulent wealth thing, right? And then when you look at any of his like streams or videos and he's going to play golf or he's going to different places, you see that. So I would put him up there in the Bugetto, right? Yeah. Toya say he knows speak peaky fanny. Hysterical. Passport OG said Benzino is a dinosaur. Right. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Dominican. Let me make sure I'm telling you. Let me make sure I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, yep. Dominican descent. Yep. Yeah. So no, yeah, the Bugetto thing is a real thing, right? It's really but I'm trying to see whether I want to say it's bougie with a hint of ghetto, but it's really not. It's more ghetto with some bougie mixed in, right? But I think that's on a sliding scale depending on who we're speaking of. Yeah. Oh, Lisa Ray. Whew. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Low key darkness. That's a good one. Yep. Yep. Especially because of her complexion and her look. See, if she want, see, a not hood Lisa Ray is Paula Patton. I just came off the dome with that one. Pause. A not hood Lisa Ray is just Paula Patton. That's all. But a hood Lisa Ray is, well, Lisa Ray. Taraji, yes, yeah. Taraji, yes, yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, yes, yes. Trey, good one. Yes, definitely. Right. Yeah, that's a good one. And Saint Cyr says Fab is Dominican and Afro American, typical AA mix in New York. And Toya says, honestly, Saint Cyr, my dad's Dominican. Right. But that's more of a thing down here in South Florida too. Haitian, um, Dominican mix, Haitian, Jamaican mix, Haitian, ADOS mix, ADOS, Jamaican mix, ADOS. Once again, obviously Haitian mix, ADOS, Latino, Haitian Latino, and when we say Latino, mainly Cubans, but some Dominicans and some Puerto Ricans. Um, yeah, that's becoming more and more of a thing down here in South Florida. Also, what else? I already said Dominican, Bahamian, Haitian mix, Bahamian, Dominican mix, Bahamian, Jamaican mix, Bahamian, um, Cuban or Dominican or Puerto Rican mix. Obviously, Jamaicans. Jamaicans are just seeding off the whole world. Shout out to Jamaica. Um, yeah, no, that's a thing too down here. That's a thing too. Yeah. And PK says these people are all broken the mind and by virtue of finance are able to experience high class experience which can but doesn't always or often alter their class. I can see that. I can see that and I can concede that. Yes. Because I don't necessarily believe that money becomes class. And unlike most people in America, including black people, I think race is class in America. I think race is class in America, and I think that we have to own it. And I think black people, namely ADOS, FBA black people, were supposed to be and designated to be the permanent underclass. And the only way I think you really fight that is if you first accept that that was supposed to be the way it was supposed to go, and then you fight it from that point, right? So there's that part. Yeah, but I agree that just because you got a couple of dollars doesn't mean that you elevate in class. You're just a rich Negro, like Kanye said, a rich Negro in a coupe, right? I think there's a lot of black people that run into that, no matter how well they speak, no matter how they present, no matter their background in the school they went to, particularly ADOS. I think Africans get to play a slightly different game. I think Caribbean folks get to play a slightly different game. But I think black people writ large in the West, particularly in America, I think, yeah, no, you are the designated permanent underclass. And it'd be really sad when y'all get y'all Negro wake up call because you thought that that money and that education meant something. And what I'm saying is it should, right? It should, but once again, you didn't do the macro work. You thought you was just going to do the micro work on yourself and elevate yourself, which is good. And then you elevated yourself right into the wolves den with the rich white racist elites. Great, you got out of the trailer park areas into the area with the white folks that actually got some power to be racist without ever calling you the N word. I guess that's a scale up, right? I guess you elevated, right? Huh. Thank you. And compassionate says first step in solving a problem is admitting you have one. Exactly. Right. And PK says, I'd say that's true of the upper echelons here, not for the lower classes outside of the top level, outside of finance. It doesn't get you into the halls of true leverage and power. PK, do black people know what true leverage and power is? How often are black people in those spaces? And how often are black people in those spaces and they're the one with the power and the leverage over everyone else? How often does that happen? Notice what I didn't say. I didn't say nothing about no money. When you see that picture with Jay-Z and Warren Buffett, what do you see? Is it two people that are wealthy having a discussion, or does Jay-Z look like he's being taught by Warren Buffett? And then what does it mean to be a black man of immense wealth? Obviously not Warren Buffett level of wealth, duh, but immense wealth and be sitting at the feet, and I don't mean that to be condescending necessarily, but sitting at the feet of Warren Buffett. Yeah, we don't know of any overt racist side from Warren Buffett, but he's still a rich white man in these United States of America, cuz. And so, even if he's not overtly racist, how many business practices has he engaged in that effectively are anti-black as hell? And you're getting your wisdom from this guy. Right? So, I mean, the leverage and power thing, I don't think black people understand. I've said it before. What song was it? Give me a second. What song was it again with Rick Ross? I'm trying to remember the name of the song, where he said, if money is power, then I got millions of power. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Wait a minute, Ross. You have literally how many times hundreds more money than I do? And I understand that's not how it works, and you don't. And you don't. Right? It was War Ready. Thank you, Saints here. Thank you. It was War Ready. It was War Ready. Thank you, which is a really dope song, by the way. Jeezy flamed that song. That was a dope song. I gotta go back. Thank you. Thank you, Saints here. It was War Ready. Right? And Detroit says speeding. No, I'm not speeding. It's just raining. South Florida weather. Right? And it was War Ready. Thank you, Saints here. But yeah, if money is power, got millions of power. I'm like, Ross, that's not how it works. What are you talking about? Wait a minute. You're the rich, famous one. Right? I think it was Indigo Flow that said once, the way black people do, not bougie. He didn't say bougie. Posh? What word did he use? It's important that I get the word out. But Indigo said in the comments one time, the way black people do the like I'm better than you type thing is really like it's cringy, right? And it is. And it is. Right? So yeah, no, I don't think black people really understand power that well, and I think that's on purpose. I'm not saying it's because we lack the ability to learn. I think that we're purposely put behind the eight ball to think money and being around power, white people with power, is the equivalent of you yourself having power. right? Which then begs the question, do we put too much on black celebrities to do something to speak to the masses of black people's plight? And I think what's really dope and frightening, and when I say dope, I don't mean that in a positive way, about the way the political left and the political right are working currently, is they're snatching up black celebrities quick, fast, in a hurry, and what's the word I want to say use? Mm, Using them as representatives for their own ideology, right? And I think that's super dangerous. I think that is super dangerous that we are in the place where you have Kanye on one side speaking absolutely recklessly, right? And then you have Glorilla and even though we haven't seen her do any interviews after this yet that I know of, this White House visit, but you have women like Meg The Stallion and Cardi B, who I would say are a bit in over their head when it comes to nationwide politics in America, right? Huh. So yeah. And Pastor G says, millions is too little money. They are willing to give it to black men that can run fast and jump high. Yes. But okay, even if you become a billionaire, okay, you become a Jay-Z. What does your billions coming from entertainment, what does that really look like compared to like the Carnegie family maybe, right? Or even let's say a white person that's not worth $1 billion, but their money is from construction, right? Their money is from something vital. Let's say this is an oil magnate, but they're only worth, and I say only relatively, only worth $700 million. Do you have power or does he have power? Right? Or does it depend on the situation? You know, for any of us that ever played any Star Ocean games, um, you know, one of the ways you can level up is depending on the attack that you hit your opponents with, you can get more points for, you can get more percentage where when you get into these different fights where you get more XP or EXP to level you up, or you could get more allotted to magic, or you could get more allotted to your attack power in the fights, right? Depending on the type of attack you get, it's kind of like this bonus. And there's a gauge where it'll show like pink is for more XP and yellow is for more magic or green is for more whatever. And so when I look at wealthy folks, particularly wealthy black folks, I ask myself, what type of billions is your billions? The question is, are all billions made the same? What type of millions are your millions? Are your millions from the legal sphere? Are your millions from the political sphere? Are your millions from the streets? Are your millions from entertainment? Are your millions from you know, let's say somewhere in technology, right? You're somewhere in STEM. Are all millions made the same? Are all billions made the same? Right? Hitflix says, so black celebrities are ventriloquist dummies. I won't go that far. I won't go that far. What I will say is, I think black celebrities find themselves in a very interesting position. I don't think most black celebrities have it in them to say This is a lie and a facade, and we are here to sell black success back to black people, to white folks, to make them feel not so guilty about anti-blackness and racism, and to sell it overseas so that America doesn't look like the racist system that it still is, and that the majority of black people are still living not in squalor, but kind of sort of and in struggle. I don't think most I don't even think most black celebrities even understand that's what they're there for, really. It's to sell hope, sell optimism, sell black uplift, and that their mere presence is there to say, look, we're not racist. America's not racist. Look, we have black rich people and black celebrities with some money. How can we be racist if T.I. exists? How can we be racist if Oprah exists? How can we be racist if Jay-Z exists and Beyonce exists? How can we be racist? And this is where Candace Owens comes in, talking about the original topic. And how can we be racist if Candace Owens exists? Right? How can we be racist when Larry Elder exists, and Larry Elder often speaks down about this so-called anti-blackness and racism? How can we be racist? Right? And Emerald Edge says, facts. Look at us. You can make it too. Yeah. I don't think most black celebrities, I don't think they have it in them. But somebody said something when COVID happened. In the middle of COVID, there was a couple of black celebrities that were starting to crack, and they were starting to tell you the truth about how close to the edge they actually live financially. Now, I know many of us, it's too tempting to say, yeah, that's because y'all buying all this expensive stuff and da da da. True, but much of why they exist is to portray black uplift and success, and you don't got to necessarily have it to show it. Right? You don't have to necessarily have it. Me and my lady are watching Tokyo Vice right now, and I I won't expose too much for any of y'all who are watching it, but this is a bit of a spoiler alert. So if you're also watching Tokyo Vice, be forewarned. A bit of a spoiler alert. Um, we got to the point um in the most recent episode where um the boyfriend of the friend, I'm being obscure on purpose just in case y'all ever watch it, y'all won't really know what I'm speaking about until you get there. The boyfriend of what's her name, the white girl's friend, the white girl who friend was killed on the boat. The boyfriend who helped to steal her money, the white girl's money, the white girl gets a gun, she goes and finds him, and she busts through the door, and she's like, yo, essentially, where's my money? Where's my money? And she's going through his apartment, and she realizes, wait a minute, you don't really got nothing. And she does that because she had just watched a television show where they were interviewing him, and he was dressed nice, and he was speaking as if he's this big ballerific rich dude. And when she busts in his apartment, she realizes he doesn't have anything. And then he says it. He says, I don't have anything. People give me clothes to advertise for them, but I don't really have anything. And I think of that when I think of black celebrities. And like, I'm saying this wrong. When I saw that, I thought of where many black celebrities and black socialites kind of where they are. And you ever notice, like, you'll find out that they're bankrupt, or you'll find out that they don't have what we thought they had, right? Or like we saw with Kanye, how easy it is to like strip them, right, of their finances essentially, and how quickly they can go. Kanye in our bro, it was like a week or two. We watched Kanye go from what being worth supposedly some $3-4 billion to a few $100 million, which, by the way, I'm saying like he's still worth a few $100 million. But we watched that happen in our face in a matter of a week or two. TLC, thank you. Right? So like when we speak about this money thing, I want us to think about that. When we think about power and how much money and entails power, particularly in the black community. I want us to think about that. Do some of these people that we think have power, do they really have power? Do they have power or influence in the black community? I would argue yes. Outside of the black community, notice something too, and I want to be very clear because this part I want to stress. I'm gonna end out in a minute. Do you really have power when all of your smoke and your anger and your ire is for black people? I don't want to hear none of this. No, it's because that's what I'm focused on, and that's the community I come from. Yawn, that's excuses, and you're a coward. Those are excuses, and you are a coward. If your smoke is for other black people, and you're supposed to be Mr. or Mrs. Rich Ballerific black person, right? Then that let me know that you're afraid of white folks, which lets me know where your bread is buttered. If every time you open your mouth is to discipline some Negroes, then that let me know something. And I think you see far too many black celebrities, black socialites, black talking heads, black influencers, right? Black quote unquote creatives. Every time they open their mouth is to say something reckless about black people, namely black men, right? And that lets me know when you can go to Morehouse and lecture down to black young men when they're graduating college about no excuses when they're graduating college, which is a pretty good indicator that they're not using excuses. They're not the type of black men that use excuses. Then that lets me know, huh? How often did you ever lecture white folks? Uh oh. When you went to Howard and you were once again another commencement speech, essentially getting your average black person to sympathize with the white men that thought they had it all together, but they didn't. Huh. I see something here. Lecturing black men about no excuses, going to Morehouse, going to Howard, and telling those young people, you be a little lenient to the white men because you know they thought they had it all figured out, but they're hurting right now. They're realizing they don't got it all figured out. Huh. Right. And Pastor G says black people, men are a punching bag. Only 20 million of us to begin with. That's an easy punching bag. We need to make it more difficult, right? Huh. Yeah, no, this is a good point. And Red Falls says, I don't know. Tiffany Cross was fired for being reckless about white people, and she depended on them for her money and position. Yeah, but MSNBC is good for that though. They good for putting a battery in your back, letting you talk, and then yeah, bye Melissa Harris Perry, bye Tiffany Cross. Uh-oh. They're good for discarding you when they want to. But you do make a good point here. And Emerald Edge says, what you just said is a course in marketing. And I never took a marketing class. Right? Huh. Oh wow, oh, wow! I did not know this. And I am Waf Sis. What's going on, Theo? Z, do you remember when Candace was in that sports bar full of white people and they were shouting inward at her until she left? This was actually caught on camera. No. Where was I for that? No, I did not see that. So wait. Let's get this again. Let's get this again. Let's go back to original topic so we can actually end out sometime before the end of the century. Um, so let me get this right. Candace Owens was called all type of N words in high school to the point where she had to sue the school district that she was from. Okay, fine. Then there's another video of Candace Owens being called the N word at a bar. And then this is the same lady that told you what Hitler did wasn't that wrong. The problem is that he went too far by taking that outside of the borders of Germany. And this is the same lady who the white racist shooter, New Zealand shooter, put her name, her literal name, in his manifesto. Right. And I'm Waf says this was maybe around the time Trump either was just taking office or still running. You know, there's something to be said about people of color who are rebuffed by white folks really seeking white people's approval, namely the women seeking white men's approval. Anybody say anything about Venus and Serena? Uh-oh. There's something to be said about black people going through all type of anti-black racist trials and tribulations with white folks and then turning around and wanting to be in bed with said white folks. What you said about black women? PK said, like I said, her history impressive, ain't it? Love, am I right? Right. Thank you. Nema says, and the Christian church shooter also mentioned Andrew Breivik in his manifesto. And for those of you that don't know, Breivik was the one in Norway that killed like 70 something people, including mainly children. That was that one that bombed the capital and that drove all the way to the damn what was it again, Namer? The opposing parties like youth headquarters, camp, and was picking off children, y'all, minors. Passport OG said, and you, and you, and you. Shout out to Jennifer Holiday. You're gonna love me, right? Shout out to Jennifer Hudson. She did a good job on covering that too. Thank you, Labor Party. Excuse me, Labor Party summer retreat. By the way, children at the Labor Party summer retreat. The up and coming, the next generation of potential Labor Party leadership. That's all it is, compassionate. And compassionate says Candace paying fealty to the high table, vying for the white acceptance she never got. Thank you. Right? But she's getting a whole lot of it now. Candace ain't never going back. Like PK said, she's gonna have to run right into that wall. Hard as hell. And by the way, that might shake her up a little bit, but don't expect that to really change. Right? Candace is now getting pat on the back, pat on the head. No, too easy, too easy. For speaking the way she does and advocating the way she does, because once again, she's one of those black women conservatives, to go against the quote unquote woke mob. And namely, we already know why she's really there, why they really elevate her. They elevate her because she's a black woman who speaks the way she does and advocate the way she does, which is different than the masses of, obviously, the majority of black women, the vast majority of black women. Right? Thank you. And Theo says, and Waf says, Z, that's what kills me about these red pill in the black sector. They'll just do all of these reaction videos to a bunch of racists because they made 2 points about modern women. And Theo, this is what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, I put a disclaimer out a little bit earlier this same stream, but like this stream has gone on for 3 hours. Jesus Christ! Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. But yes, no, I made this very point. Right? I'm not saying that there are not points that are going to be made by some of the most despicable actors ever. Period. Despicable people ever. I'm not going to say every once in a while they're not going to say something. You'd be like, that's a good point, but look at who it's coming from. With that, right? I think, okay, I had a conversation with a friend, right? And we were speaking about Ben Shapiro. He was like, no, I like Ben Shapiro. You know what he's checking. I'm like, and this was, this had to be maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. No, maybe 3 years ago. Somewhere between 3 years ago to 4 years ago, we had this conversation. And we were speaking about Ben Shapiro, and I was like, bro, you don't understand who Ben Shapiro is? And I mean like a real life friend. I'm not talking about internet or online. Right? And yes, just like Theo said, he rocked with Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro checking all of those, limp-wristed college students and some of the weirdo LGBTQ folks. And I'm like, you might want to be careful with that one. Right? You might have to be careful with that one. And so I'm agreeing with Theo by saying, like, look, I get it. Black men, I get it. I get it. Some of what the white guys are saying is going to sound similar to what we're saying, but this is not the same fight. This is not the same fight. Right? Bill Burr told y'all what it really is with white women. White feminism. Bill Burr said it, them Gucci footed boots. They were in on the heist. White men are telling them, hey, y'all were in on the heist. What y'all doing? Y'all going against us? We robbed and pillaged and raped and destroyed this world. Stop acting like you're above us. Particularly, white men are saying this to white leftist women. Stop acting like you're above us. You benefit from everything we did on planet Earth. That is not the argument that black men are saying. Black men are saying, could you stop being jealous of these people, please? They're barely human. These people got the nerve to call us savages. Okay. Because you hide your barbarity behind a gun instead of a spear. You hide your barbarity behind 4 and 5 syllable words and systems and mechanisms to keep the oppressed oppressed and economies to keep the oppressed oppressed. And you got the nerve to call other savages. All right. Black men's argument with black women is not the same as white men's argument with white women. Right? And so I agree with you on this. Yeah, be careful listening to these folks and be like, yeah, he's right. He's right about what? Mr. Shook to you. Mr. Z is okay with sounding like a whole hypocrite on this one. And he says, attending, I think you meant attempting. Are we attempting to take the false sense of moral superiority high ground now? Sounds familiar, white women. Okay, I see what you're saying. But I was saying, like, when I thought I knew what you were saying, I was saying, yeah, no, I think black men should occupy that space. Period, point blank, done. Right? I don't think anyone else is making a cogent argument because I've said it before. Everybody else is jealous of white men. White women are jealous of white men. Asian men are jealous of white men. Asian women are jealous of white men. South Asians, indigenous folks, Latinos, Latinas. I think the only group of people that aren't jealous of white men are black men. I think we're the only people that don't want to be white. We don't want to be phenotypically white. We don't want to be politically white. We don't want to be socially white. We'll take some of the money, but I don't even think we want to be economically white. I think, and I think those numbers are best represented by once again who we decide to date and marry. When we have money, what do we? Because don't let these black celebrities fool you. The majority of black men, when we get money, where do we want to move? Who do we want to live around? And if the black neighborhood is safe enough, we ain't moving out of the black neighborhood for the white neighborhood just because it's a white neighborhood. Thank you, prodigies. They hide their barbarity behind technology. Thank you. Right? So when it comes to the moral high ground, particularly that black women are trying to occupy, right? Hmm. No, I think it should be black men. So yeah, no, not only do I think it should be black men, but yeah, oh wait. And PMT, um PNT PM the Dawn says look like Daily Wire might have to let her go. I don't know. I don't know. I know her and when we say her, we're talking about Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro had a serious back and forth about the Israeli Palestine or Gaza conflict genocide. Um, I know they have and it's been pretty contentious, but I don't know if they're at the point where it's irreconcilable differences and Ben Shapiro wants to push her out the door. I don't know if they're there yet. Right? Okay, and this is a good point. And Compassionate says, I think black men should exploit the interest convergence between white men and black men and leverage it for our own gains um, wherever possible. We are not gonna win this fight playing fair and square like we have been. I know. I agree. I agree. PK says, but let's be clear, moral arguments in white people, there's a lot of inconsistency there, if any at all. Some would argue that, but it's uphill task now, and historically, yeah, yes. What morality? How do you appeal to someone's morality? Excuse me. How do you appeal to someone's morality who doesn't have any? Right? Stokely Carmichael. Right. Oh, okay. And Nemo says it was originally between Candace Owens and Dave Rubin, but Ben Shapiro got involved. Okay. Okay, please and thank you. And Amwaf says, Z, if I can find that clip of Candace getting ran out the bar, I'll try to send it to you. That's yeah, that's sad. And once again, Emerald Edge, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That's black women who have been rebuffed by white men, insulted by white men, belittled by white men, been the pass around for white men, still wanting white men. Asian women who said I wasn't compassionate. When you put that clip up, I was like, God damn. She said it. She said it. I wasn't the cute, blue-eyed, white, blonde-haired girl in high school. And I wonder if that's what I'm really chasing after. I'm like, bitch, you don't need a therapist. You already diagnosed yourself. Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, Asian lady, yes. You have an inferiority complex and you try to be accepted by the white dudes because they wasn't checking for you in high school. Yes, the answer is yes. Yes. God damn. Right? Oh crap, she was? And Let's Go says Candace was just fired from Daily Wire, and that lets you know. See, and that's what I'm saying. I said that earlier. I think Candace has been rudely awakened by white power multiple times. I think that's why she's with the husband that she's with. I think it's like something psychological. She got under a white man because she thinks the only protection she can get from white power is to be under white power. And voila, she got fired by a white man. Yes, he's a small hat white man, but he's a white man. I think the ugly lesson that women, particularly women of color, particularly get when they get knocked upside the head with some racist crap from white people, white men, is to get under a white man to defend them and protect them from white men. Anybody say Venus and Serena? God damn, Z. Right? Huh. That's a good question. Oh, 30 minutes ago. Okay, so that's okay. That was a second ago. Goddamn. And Prodigy says, Z, do you see more small hats moving to the right because of the IP conflict, the Israel Palestine conflict? Ugh. That's a good question. Where's BGS when you need him? Where's AB when you need him? That is a good question. I don't know because I think the Christian Zionists are making a nice home for them, but I think too many conservatives are just so outrightly anti-Semitic. I think the left's issue with this conflict is not coming from an anti-Semitic place. It's actually coming from a justice place. The problem is somebody ain't really trying to be justified here. Somebody ain't really on the business of justice. They in the business of oppression, and I stole it fair and square, so it's mine now. Right? I think the problem is somebody saying, look, we stole it fair and square, so it's ours now. We got the guns, so bow down. We got the guns, the planes, the tanks. So the left's argument, the reason why it's so abrasive to these people is because they're saying, yeah, first of all, those are not the people that did whatever happened to you back in the day. I'm purposely being obscure with my language. It's still not even obscure enough, but okay. First of all, those aren't the people that did what they did to you back in the day, or what happened to you back in the day. Secondly, you're the oppressors now. Even if we take everything you say about the past at face value, yeah, you are the oppressors now. Wait a minute. Hold up. Right. So that's the left's argument, and I don't know how much it's gonna move those people to the right, but I think there's a bit of a home for them on the right. It's very interesting watching this political shuffling that's going on in our faces right now. But remember, there are some serious anti-Semites on the right. The left I'm not saying there's not left, anti-Semites on the anti-Semites on the left. I'm not saying there's not. I'm saying there are going to be people that are going to be purposely misconstrued as anti-Semites because of what they're actually arguing is about justice and human rights. I didn't even say civil rights yet. And so it's going to be purposely misconstrued as anti-Semitic, while others in their true anti-Semitism will be played down because they're Christian Zionists and they believe if these people get to hold on to this land and if there's a peace in this area, then we can truly usher in the second coming of Jesus, our Lord Jesus Christ. White, hipster, surfer dude, Jesus. Shout out to Black Guru. Right? Huh. So yeah. And Mr. Shikti says, I guess Daily Wire chose their side. Yeah. And Prodigy says, yep, it's true. She confirmed it on Twitter. She's gone from Daily Wire. Wow. Literally as we talk about it. Low key darkness is damn her getting fined is the fault of all of us dusties. Yeah, she been doing too much talk to black people. Right? Man. True. And Passport OG says, if I'm Candace Owens and a much better time to be a free agent than now. There's no let's see where she goes with this because was she let go from PragerU or did she leave PragerU to go do business with Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire, right? Let's see if she starts her own thing or if she moves into another space. If she tries to get some pundit space on Fox News or whether she goes to what's the other one? It was right there. God damn, where it was right there. The Blaze or what's the other conservative joint? Um, Newsmax or let's see if she attempts to do something else with that. Red Falls Black says so she got Tiffany crossed. Hysterical. Mm, that's what it kind of looked like, right? Man, yeah. So let's see where she goes from this. I don't wish her any ill will per se, but Candace, you got to work on whatever you got going on psychologically with these white folks, white men, right? Yeah, right. Mm. Lord Lesmus, wait a minute. Actually, let's read PK's comment. And PK says, any play she wants to make, she's at the age where her last plays in life are right now. If ever, while she still has any clout to do so. Oh boy. Oh boy. I gotta think about that. I gotta think about what you said because the age factor, right? What is she, 35, 36 years old? 36? Yeah, the age factor. Huh. Or is she 37? Somewhere around there. 36, 37, depending on where her birthday is. Yeah, no, that's something. Oh wow! And Lord Lusman says, I think those small hats had it in her contract where she can't go on her own without giving them a huge percentage of her company. Oh, really? So even if she tries to start and do her own thing, she got to what? Who would sign up? Boy, these weirdo, I call them 360 deals, even if they're not record labels, but these weirdo 360 deal type of contracts that y'all be signing for a couple of dollars. It's really not a couple of dollars, it'd be some good money, but for a couple of dollars and to be famous, I don't know. I don't know if I'm signing these type of contracts, man. Yeah. Hey, anybody want to do business with Z? I'm not signing one of these weirdo contracts where you get a portion of everything I do and a good chunk too. Hey Z, you forgot? Oh, we signed a contract. We get 30% of everything you do for the rest of your life. What? 40, 50% of everything you do for the rest of your life. I'm not signing no contract like that, bro. Right. Low key, low key darkness says, as long as she attacks us, she'll be funded. We'll see. Let's see if they put her out to pasture. Let's see how long that marriage lasts. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, black women. I know they weren't living off of her money, or at least I think they weren't living off of her money. Passport OG, now this I wouldn't be surprised about. As a matter of fact, Amoroso 2.0, yeah. And a more talented Amoroso. I said Amoroso, sorry. Amoroso. And Passport OG says, Trump about to bring her into his administration. Watch. I see it. I can see it. That I'm there. I don't really have anything to add to that. I see it. Right. Oh, she's 34? I thought her birthday was 87. Right. Huh. So, yeah. I'm upset, compassionate cows. You know how we are, bro. All white boy got to do is one dance, one dap, a pound, and most Negroes are going. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, right? It's so easy to get Negroes, man. Like it's so Theo, look, man, it's so easy. If you could do a nice two step with some rhythm, you got a little black woman that you effing on. You don't even have the black woman that you effing on, to be honest with you. You could do a two step. You could recite certain lyrics from Boosie or Jay Z or name them. You in there? Not only will you be invited to the picnic, you'll be allowed to eat first. Wow. Compassionate said Negroes still signing 360 deals in the age of independent international distribution is insane. Is it? Okay. I'm Wasis. Yo, I'm gonna have to change my name. I am not Theo, LOL. Right? And Kareen says, I'm gonna read your super chat in a minute, Kareen. And Kareen says, I don't agree with her on everything, but her latest interview has been on fire. Love her stance on Gaza. The small hats doing too much to civilians here. Yeah, I think this is it. I think, and I gotta tread carefully on this. I think they have totally destroyed any semblance of we're doing this to protect ourselves. We have the stance we have. We go overboard the way we do as a response to these people and their aggression towards us. I think this conflict right here has completely shredded that globally. I think it's done. I don't think they ever get it back. Right? That's my point, PK. And PK says they spent their goodwill. It's done. Oh, she was born in 89, not 87. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought Candace was born in 87. Right? I think it's done. I think it's done. I think this conflict seriously exposes them for a. And remember, white colonial state, literally, that's why they were founded. That's how they were founded. Their forefathers said so. So just to say, Mr. Z's not pulling it out of his rear end. Their forefathers said it. So yeah, about that. And that says Daily Wire downfall. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see if Ben can hold it up on his own and with a couple of other um names. Let's see. Maybe. Right? PK said, no, we rewriting histories. They'll try. They will try and they will fail. Just like the white folks in Texas and Florida and around the US are trying to indoctrinate the kids, namely the black kids, about a different version that never happened, or this softening up of white oppression of black people in particular in the US. It ain't gonna work. Nice try though. Right? And Kareen says, and thank you for the super chat. You see, they fired Candace Owens. Nah, her hubby very rich. Yeah, no, he's good financially, and yeah, no, we were literally just speaking about that, right? I didn't know if they were gonna do it. I didn't. I wouldn't. No lie to you, and I mean, I was literally like mid sentence saying it. I didn't really see it happening. I didn't think Ben Shapiro would pull it. I didn't think he would pull it. Right? I didn't think he would pull it because I think this would be a perfect time to say, you know what, we disagree, but to prove all of the stuff I say, Ben, what happened to facts over feelings? Wait, Ben, aren't you the face of facts over feelings? What happened to facts over feelings? Right? What happened? So I thought this would be a good example for Ben to show, look, facts over feelings. We disagree, but she's a cherished and valued member of this channel, member of this platform. And, yeah, we disagreed, but, this is a quote unquote friend. And I value her. And even though we disagree, I value her and her opinion. This would be excuse me, this would be a perfect time to exhibit that, but clearly not. Right? And Kareen also says, Ben Shapiro is boring. Matt Walsh is a weirdo. Jordan Peterson is the only good thing on that platform. And there you go. Right? Matt Walsh is a weirdo. But he gets, that Matt Walsh is half the white dudes y'all run into. More than half. The reason why they resonate, y'all ever see the reason why the white guys resonate with all of these dudes on the internet, from the Paul brothers to the conservatives like Matt Walsh and Benny Boy? It's because this is them. They resonate with these weirdo losers because this is them. Have y'all ever really been around white men? What was the other one that Stefan Molyneux looking like a goddamn pedo? They resonate with these weirdo white dudes because this is them. DeFranco, whatever his name is, this is your average white guy. What's his name that always keep the beanie on? I just was off this man channel. I just watched a video with him. Y'all know who I'm speaking about. And he's doing numbers 10
This is them. So yeah, Matt Walsh might be a weirdo. He represents the weirdo white dudes, right? Benny Boy might be boring, but Kareem, you're in the Northeast around a bunch of small hats. That's not them. Oh crap! My audio. Sorry, y'all.
Thank you, Detroit. Thank you. I was just going. Let's go back and say that. I was just going over the fact that and what Kareen said. Let's highlight that again. Then let's highlight that again. And Kareen says Ben Shapiro's boring. Matt Walsh is a weirdo. Jordan Peterson is the only good thing on that channel. And I was saying, but this is them, right? This is the Kareen. You're in the Northeast. Aren't the small hats like Ben Shapiro? Many of them, not all. Matt Walsh, that's your average white guy. Stefan Molyneux, that's your average white guy. I'm not saying he's on Daily Wire. I'm just saying pedo looking weirdo white guy that's racist as hell and that tries to intellectualize their racism. And then when the rest of society says, yeah, we're not backing you on that, that includes a lot of white folks, then they say, oh, I'm being censored, and they don't want to hear facts because facts can be racist. Stefan Molyneux, right? Intellectualizing your anti-blackness and racism, calling anything anti-Semitic if it doesn't align with a certain worldview, just being a weirdo white dude. This is them, right? Prodigy says Molyneux was so cringe looking. Whatever happened to him? He pretty much got deplatformed, right? See? And Karina saying, yes, my BFF is Jewish. I went to a Jewish college. It was City University, but controlled by Jewish folks. Worked law office, all Jewish. Lived blocks away from Jewish enclave. I'm telling you, I know Mr. Z. Look, I'm not the brightest bulb. I'm not the brightest bulb. I don't have all the money. I don't have all the intelligence. Um, Community college dropout. But these type of things, look, man, I know of what I speak, right? Lightweight social critiquer over here, right? But he is nigh level. I know what you mean, right? And PK says, I mean, it's deserved. He is out and out hardcore white supremacist, arguably nigh level. I spelled that out. Yeah. I can't spell that out. I know he is, though. Y'all remember Z is a sadomasochist. So Z used to watch his videos, especially the ones concerning race, to piss myself off. But of course I did. Right? Y'all remember the last straw, I think, is when he went overseas, because he's originally from Canada, right? He went overseas in what country did he go to? And he was speaking about the harmony and the lack of violence, and he kept on saying that, and that was his way of saying, yeah, because there's no black people over there. There's no people of color over there. It's all peaceful. It's so peaceful, and there's unity, and you don't see any violence in this and this and that. And I'm like, yeah. And whoever the YouTube people were, and whoever, yeah, you did too much. You weren't being as coy as you thought you were, Mr. Smartass. Remember, you're supposed to be the smart one. Yeah, I went over here, and it wasn't violent. It wasn't yawn. right? And Corinne says, ironically, my Jewish BFF love Candace Owens. She thinks she's so amazing. Now, blah. I'm like, she's meh. I always have one question for people that back like the Larry Elders and the Candace Owens and these sorts, right? I'm like, why do you think the majority of black people disagree with her? I love watching white people squirm when you say stuff like that. Why do you think so many black women disagree with her? Why do you think the right embraces her and so many black women disagree with her? Right? Huh. All right, y'all. We're about to be done. 3 hours and 45 minutes. Look, it was not supposed to be that way. Regular streams. Anyway, so let's pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I don't know if Dr. Thunder is still streaming. My bad, Dr. Thunder. This was not supposed to happen this way. And I'm gonna go do some research on Candace Owens. Y'all excuse me, I had to sneeze. Had to get that sneeze out. But yeah, then I'll check out. Let's do that outro all over again. We will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. For the love of God, y'all see how Mr. Z can freestyle this. You want to know why? Because Mr. Z doesn't only listen to, watch, and read things that's concerning the Black Manosphere. This is how you get a well-rounded understanding of the world, right? That part. Oh yeah, and watch the Breakfast Club interview with Candace Owens. Yes, and yes, right. And well, like I say, I don't know if Dr. Thunder is still streaming. Y'all go check that out if he is, or the Roger Report, right? And Mr. Shukti, you put the link right here, and he says Roger had a good topic going on for today. Head over there, and there we go. For those of you, link is right there. And we will pause right here, truly, and y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out. All right, y'all. Candace, love is not just love, especially concerning women of color and white men. Stop it. And on that note, we will end right there. You have a great rest of y'all day.